Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmie. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another wild edition of Crime and Sports. We have got just a doozy of a story today. We're on a roll here. We're starting the new year hot. And we did last week. If you did not hear last week, stop, go back.
What are you doing?
Go, all right, listen to this, but then go back, though, and listen to last week with Lenny Montana.
So good.
Oh, my goodness. Luca Brasi from The Godfather, who is also a champion wrestler, won a Purple Heart in World War II. Oh, and was a heavy hitter for the Colombo crime family. Like, you can't even make this up. That story is... If you heard that story, you like, as just out there, you go, well, that's a load of shit, obviously. Like, it would be a cheesy movie, and yet it's very, very real. So go back and listen to that. And also, you should, once you listen to it, get on Apple Podcasts and give us 5 stars. It helps a lot. We have no idea why. So do it. Rate and review wherever you can. It helps out the show quite a bit. Don't know why. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Also, very important. Get your tickets.
Live show,
January the 29th, virtual live show anywhere on earth. If you can get internet access, you can get this live show. I believe anyway. Don't hold me to that, but you know, if you can stream things, I'm sure. If you're capable of streaming anything, you can stream this January 29th. Then it's available for 72 hours after that, just in case you can't make it on the 29th. Small Town Murder, real episode, just like in a theater. The camera is going to be the theater. That's the way we're looking at it. So we're going to have a good time. We all need to gather. Yeah. So let's gather and do it. It's going to be a great time. Shut up and give me murder.
As capable as we're possible.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We have a fun one planned, too.
I can't wait.
A wild case, all the visuals, good audio, everything. It's going to be a lot of fun. So
drinking.
Yeah, you know it. Yeah, we'll be doing it. So day smoking, day drinking. We got this. Absolutely. So you can do all of that. Also, listen to Small Town Murder if you haven't, if you don't know what we're talking about. You can start with last week's episode.
It's great.
It's wild. Teenage cheerleader missing from a suburban mall. I mean, do you get more Small Town Murder than that? And it gets way worse after that. That's the good part of the story, if there is one. So crazy ass stuff there. Check out Small Town Murder. Check out P.S. I Hate This Movie, because I had to watch Twilight and I had to watch Knocked Up this last week with Heigl.
She even hates that movie now.
She should.
Do you know why she hates it? Because she had to be a bitch for 2.5 hours.
It's every movie she's in. She's the same character.
Yeah, but they made her be extra bitchy in that movie, and she's furious about it.
That's I don't
She's so mad.
That's the least of her concerns in that movie. The least of them, honestly.
They painted pregnant women to be just the worst people on earth.
They did kind of do that. But, you know, it's funny, too, but I've had 2 kids, and I didn't see it as, they're exagerrating. I was like, that's how pregnant ladies are. Yeah. That's how I saw it. Maybe, I don't know.
I've been through it twice. I don't know how many times she's been through it.
That's what I mean. I don't know. Maybe at that point.
Maybe have some self-awareness, Catherine.
Yeah. My bigger problem was she's supposed to be like 23 in that movie, and I'm like, I don't think
32, 23.
That's what I was like, 32.
Maybe she's dyslexic.
Calm down. Yeah. Relax there. Yeah. Her and Seth Rogen, I'm like, how old are these people? What is going on here? I just don't understand the dynamic. Never mind. All right. We have Crime and Sports to do here. We could go on and bitch about Knocked Up forever. Check that out. Also, Patreon is on fire as well. Patreon, this last week, we did the Herb Abrams UWF for Crime and Sports, which was wrestling and the most, it's kind of Like, ECW was crazy in the ring and a little outside. This was all outside the ring, as crazy as you're going to get. The guy, his death was one of the most remarkable things I've ever heard.
I pray I go out the same.
We all should pray we go out that way. And then Small Town Murder last week, we did do small town reviews, which were hilarious. Somehow.
Tremendous.
They were wild.
Yeah.
Next week's, after this, the next week on Patreon for Crime and Sports, we are doing the death of Steve McNair.
Yeah.
So that's going to be crazy one. All of that and more. Patreon.com/Crime and Sports. And Jimmy will mispronounce your name because you're a producer. Or just go to PayPal, use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com if you just want to be a producer and have good karma and not worry about bonus stuff. But that said, let's get to this.
Great.
Because we have so much here. This is insane. And we have an Australian. We're going down under again.
I love it.
Where we've never been let down. From under.
It's true.
From Australia. We just never have. It's fun. There's certain things on Crime and Sports where we just know. If it's a wrestler, buckle up.
Great
you
story.
know it's going to be crazy. You know it's going to be fun. So, things like that. If it's anybody from Australia, just buckle up.
Was the last one Ben Cousins?
I don't know. We did Paul Hayward, he's from New Zealand, but he played in Australia.
Correct.
And then went to a Thai prison.
Yeah.
Where
rats in the shit pipes.
Rats bit at your asshole while you shit into a hole in the ground. Rats would pop out.
Not even a shit pipe, just the hole.
Just a hole. Yeah, that's isn't that where Paul Calhoun?
Yeah, I think it is.
No, I think it's where he just popped up there. Obviously, he needed those shit pipes needed some work. But we are getting into this with a teammate of that guy, Paul Hayward, his name was. This is a teammate of his from that time. This team, somehow, the Newtown Jets had so many criminals on it and such a small amount of people. And there's other weird things about this team. But, he's a teammate. It's Christopher Michael Dawson. Okay. Chris Dawson is his name, okay? Date of birth is July 26th, 1948. He's from Sydney, Australia, obviously. The capital there. He's born in Sydney. He's a twin. Oh. He's an identical twin. Oh. As well. So
it wasn't me, it was my brother.
There's always weirdness there.
That's what I'd say about everything.
Everything. Have you talked to my brother about this?
I don't know what that is.
I wasn't.
My brother knows.
I didn't see him. It might have been my brother.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We look alike. He's the second born of the twins.
Okay, so he's the youngest.
He's the youngest of, a minute later. Yeah. They also have an older brother who we'll talk about. Older brother who's an attorney, which will come in handy later on.
He's the other Manning.
Yeah, exactly. He's not a rugby player, but he does that. His twin brother is Paul Dawson, who also plays on the Newtown Jets at the same time as
really?
He does. Yes. So they had twins playing on the same team, which is super weird.
That's
I don't know
bizarre.
why it's so strange. It gets weirder with that team, but
Tiki and Rondé never played on the same team, right?
I don't think they did. So it would be at least they played offense and defense.
Yeah,
like
that would change things up a smidge. At least you know who was who.
You know who was exactly. At least these guys play the same position too. So they just come in and switch out on each other like in different lines or whatever. I don't know if it's like hockey, but they come in and switch out. So it's like. It's so strange. It's the same guy there standing before you with a different jersey on.
I think that may have happened in the NBA with Robin and his other brother. the
Lopez boys? Yeah.
I think they were. Did they play on the same team?
Robin and the lesser Lopez?
Yeah, Robin was better. Yeah. They're still in the NBA.
Yeah.
I forget.
I don't remember.
I feel like they may have crossed paths at like the Knicks or Chicago. I don't know.
They had like different hair though.
Yeah.
So it was you could tell them apart.
And they are identical twins, but they are not identical twins.
Yeah, they had a different These guys are like carbon copy, dressed the same haircut, same
like they came out of the same machine.
They dress the same. Weird. Yeah, they're really into being twins.
I hate
like their twinness is creepy.
Gross.
It's really creepy throughout this whole thing. Their parents' names are Sid and Joan, S-Y-D, Sid, which is a very Australian dad name, I feel like.
Sid lived in Sydney?
Sid from Sydney. I feel like that is a very, very Australian name. He attended Sydney Boys High School, where he was a prefect.
What is that?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I said. I was like, what the hell is a prefect?
It's not a perfect.
Sounds like he's doing circumcisions or something.
Yeah.
It's like a non-Jewish moil. He does like
Catholic moil.
No, not Catholic though. Whatever's going on in Australia, I don't know what the hell they do down
Baptist moil or whatever the fuck.
There's no Baptist in Australia.
You don't think so?
I highly doubt it. Australians, I don't know, but let me know. Are there like Southern Baptists there? I can't imagine that. Somebody's screaming about fire and brimstone.
Pentecostal offshoot in
swinging
Australia.
a rattlesnake around. I can't picture that happening in Perth. I just don't see it. They're swinging a snake around for another reason and
because it was in their shoe.
Shit-faced about something. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
came
they're
out of their
above
air
it.
conditioning vent.
Yeah. I just don't think Jesus is the cause of their rant. I think it's something else.
I don't know what kind of religion Australia has. Do they have much?
They're not.
You know what? They lead in not what is it?
Agnostic atheism.
Atheism.
Yeah.
I almost called them anti-Semitic.
Most of the world is in Europe and everywhere else. It's people are kind of just like, they just kind of, even if they're quote unquote religious, it's kind of like we talked about last week with Northeast Catholics. It's like there's not really, they're not all into it or anything. Whereas
I think Australia leads in atheism.
Yeah, well, that's not good job.
Good for you guys.
So
well done.
A prefect is not religious at all.
No.
Although even it definitely sound like he covers up the diddlings or something.
Right.
He's like the diddle lookout.
He wears a charm on a chain of some sort.
Yeah, it's a signal to the other prefects. I guess in some schools, I looked it up, a senior student authorized to enforce discipline. So a glorified hall monitor, pretty much. To keep,
but authorized to discipline.
I don't know if that's to write people up or
is it
to
paperwork or is it actual?
Are we paddling people? Is it like a frat house in there? We don't. It's an all boys school, so anything's possible. And I have no idea what the standards are like in Australia in the '60s.
Yeah,
you could have been that's a scrotum paddling. And then you had to that was it.
You're 10 minutes late. That's a pencil for every 5 minutes.
If somebody grabs
Bend
one leg,
over.
someone grabs the other, and it's a paddling. We're gonna wall up your testes, eh? And they just start fucking wailing on him with a fucking fungo. So I don't know. You never know. So in 1965, he actually meets a girl.
Oh,
shockingly enough, because going to an all boys high school, it's a big event for him. Oh my God!
Not at school, obviously.
No, at a high school function.
Okay.
All of these boys' schools and girls' schools back in the day, they used to have functions
where they mix them.
Yeah, they'd have mixers.
A mixer.
It's hard to have a dance at an all boys school in the 50s.
I mean, it's possible.
It's possible, but in the 50s, they were probably not. Wasn't as okay in society. So they'd have to mix these kids together somehow. So plus it's weird otherwise.
Right.
You need to, I don't know about girls. They're probably fine on their own, but like boys.
I'll bet they do great.
They probably do better. Boys, although they will kill each other if left alone for too long in the same room. But
it'll form the craft one way or another.
Something bad will have they'll ostracize one girl and then systematically make them all try to
cut her hair in the bathroom
off themselves. Bad 2 a.m. haircuts.
Right.
All sorts of shit's going on. But boys, if you let that go on and don't mix any estrogen into the system and you just have a boy, they will form an angry mob.
That is fascinating.
They'll form a hierarchy. They'll have people like humping the walls. They'll go feral. Boys will go feral.
Girls will kill each other, but boys will create people that will kill women.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, boys will go feral.
Yeah,
they need.
They'll damage a boy so much that he will be a serial killer.
It's true.
That's what they end up doing.
Yeah,
you put too many pencils in a boy's ass, and he takes it out on people that he can put pencils in them.
Something. I got a pencil. I got a pencil for him. It's just a strange thing though, because boys just turn into. We can't be left alone like that. It's not good. We definitely need some other force introduced into our world.
A hierarchy always remains, too. You know what I mean? Where, like in movies and shit where you pick on a guy too long and then he can't take it anymore and he beats up the big guy.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. That's
really
not how
happen
it
in
works.
real life.
You pick on a boy long enough and then he realizes he can't fight men and then he hurts women and children.
The reason why he took it for so long is because he can't beat that guy up, generally. If somebody starts
he was removed
fucking
from the
with you,
situation. That's the way. That's how he won.
In boy world, if someone's fucking with you and you think you can kick their ass, you do.
Right.
That's how it works. Right. And if not, then you take the shit for a while. Or you come up with a plan.
Yeah.
Or, like you said, you end up being bottled up. and that's what happens.
And then
with
you fucking rage.
like the Iceman.
Yeah.
The Iceman,
right.
Serial killer, obviously mob hitman there. His dad beat the living shit out of him all the time, and he said it made me angry. I took it out on everybody else. And Park Dietz even was like, no, that
makes sense.
That's why. If it wasn't for your dad, you
probably would have been fine.
Probably would have went a way different way if you weren't beaten and everything else. But I don't know how the hell we got on this.
Because of schools.
They socialized
Right.
them. So at a dance, he meets a young lady named Lynette.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Lynette Joy Sims. He meets. She's born in 1948. Also, she's 2 months older than him. So same grade, same everything. She's blonde. He's blonde. It's us. Everybody's blonde.
Of course.
Let's be honest here. What do you got? About a 92% blonde ratio down there?
They're blonde and pink. That's what they are.
Yeah, I've never seen an Australian that's not blonde. Where are you guys coming from?
Yeah.
Or Mel Gibson.
Busby's black hair.
That's
He's
true.
got black everything.
Mel Gibson. Russell Crowe's not blonde.
No, they probably were. They
At
might
some
dye
point.
it.
When they were children, they definitely had blonde hair running around.
Yeah.
Yeah. But running around, I'm sure, shirtless around the Australian countryside.
Black everything. That sounded weird. Busby's got a black beard. That's why I said
Black
that.
beard. Well, yeah.
I don't know what else he's got.
Big
that's
black cock, too, actually. It's huge. It's very strange. He's a middle-aged
Everything else
white
on
man.
Yeah. He's black hair, pink skin, huge black dick.
Veiny black cock.
It's wild.
Like a fire hose. It's very heavy.
Yeah.
So he meets her. She really likes him right away.
Mm-hmm.
He's charismatic. He's a good athlete and all that sort of thing. And he's very charming.
Yeah.
Chris is a charmer always. His brother is the more dominant personality of the twins.
Okay.
His brother almost, even though they're like a minute apart, his brother is clearly the older brother.
Okay.
It seems like he's got the plan. Hey, Chris, we're going to go do this. And then Chris does it with him. You know what I mean? That sort of shit. But he's got a great charisma and he's very charming, nice smile, nice kind of guy like that. Even Lynette, or Lynn, as we'll call her, her mother loved Chris, loved him right away. Whole family loved him. I mean, he was just... They were taken by him immediately. So much so, in 1970, when they're both 21 years old, they get married.
Oh, boy.
So young love right out of high school, and then, a few years go by, they get married at St. Jude's Church in Randwick.
Okay.
Here's their wedding picture here.
Okay.
So you can see.
Oh, my word.
I mean, they look like they take that picture and then carve that, and then people put it at the top of an Australian wedding cake. Because that's the two people that get married in Australia.
Oh, my. It is hot in Australia. Jesus.
Yeah.
Look how suntanned their faces are.
Everybody's tan.
Yeah.
It's like
the bridge of the nose and right under the eyes.
You have a whole country of Arizona, which is frightening.
It is. It's a lot of land.
It's a lot of
all
land.
Arizona.
It's all Arizona. It's all
fire.
And then some ocean.
Yeah. And then it catches on fire.
All the time.
And it's a mess.
Yeah. So there they are. They'll end up having two daughters later on, Chanel and Sharon. Sharon? I don't know. They both start with SH.
Right.
So there's that. I feel like that's on purpose. Now, Lynette's aunt said, quote, he was just so gorgeous. Of course you always believed him. Yeah. Like they said he was just a good looking guy and a real charmer. But another one of Lynette's relatives said, but behind closed doors, he was a monster, a domineering control freak.
Oh, that's awful.
So that's the this guy kind of has two
what he presents and what he really is.
Yes, what people say he is, and a lot of people say it, and two different women in their family say it, and we'll get into it though. But he's got definitely two distinct. Who he is in the public eye is way kind of different than behind closed doors, it seems here. Now, both Chris and Paul played rugby union. Now, there's different rugby.
Okay.
There's rugby league and rugby union.
Yeah.
Okay, those are different.
I believe it.
So not like they're different leagues, like they're whatever. They're different sports.
What?
Okay. Rugby league and rugby. Come on,
you
guys.
got different rules?
Be fucking
for rugby?
You know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
Let's not be so fucking. You want,
Yeah.
I get that you want people to understand what you're doing. Everybody does, okay?
Yeah.
If we have a sport, we want to show everybody, hey, look at what we got. It's fun. Great. I understand. You love rugby.
We all get behind this.
You got to try. And I know, not just for the outside world, for yourselves.
Yeah.
For yourselves. You got to try to streamline shit. So at least it has different names. I get it that it's
there you
similar.
Go. Yeah, call it something else.
But you can't call two things this.
But they did, James. They call it union and league.
They have done this. So they played rugby union for Eastern Suburbs Rugby Union Football Club I looked it up. This is their Wikipedia here. It's a team in the Intrust Super Shoot Shield, the premier rugby union football competition in New South Wales. So apparently it's a top tier team here. They're based in Rose Bay, the eastern suburbs of Sydney, and they were founded in 1900. They've won a total of 77 NSWRU premiership titles or shields across all grades, as well as 9 club championships.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Well, there's only been 120 of them, so that's pretty impressive.
I don't know. Yeah, do you just get that for showing up? Does that mean you participated in a whole season?
Right.
Is that like like a ribbon? I don't know what the premiership title or shield. It sounds impressive, but then they go to championships, which sounds more impressive, and there's less of them. So Chris, he's with his brother the whole time. He plays with his brother.
Right.
He is known from the other players as Cranky Chris.
Oh.
All right.
So that's a dick.
Yeah, he's kind of like we said, the other brother is Paul is the older brother.
Yeah.
He's more of kind of the more mature.
Yeah.
And then obviously that extra minute that Chris came out is
right. That's when he got the
he's
curmudgeon.
behind.
Yeah.
He's behind.
Okay.
His older brother was known as Passive Paul.
Okay.
So apparently not very creative down there in sports. Just they needed one Italian guy on the team to
alliterate everything too. What
just alliteration left and right. I was going to say there's no they needed one Italian guy from like New Jersey on the team
just to name him weird
just to give out nicknames. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Cranky
Skippy,
Chris.
come here.
Get the fuck out of here, Cranky Chris. Look at this guy. Look at him. I don't know. They come up with something good for him. You know. Nobody gives out nicknames better than Italian people. We're the best at. We're literally the best at it. I don't care.
It's usually has to do with how you murder,
how you whatever. There's listen to like any mob book and listen to how guys got their nicknames, and you're like, that's fucking brilliant.
It's pretty good.
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's always it's. I love it so much. So this is terrible. Though. You should be ashamed of yourselves, Australia. What the hell is wrong with you?
They're only
people?
doing it with alliteration. That's the only way they can do. That's dumb.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Suppose you have a name that doesn't,
right.
You know, so what if your name's Zach?
Fat Tony doesn't sound, they're not but it fucking gives you what he is.
It's fat.
That's the fat one.
Tony describes a lot.
Yeah, it does.
It really does.
Tells you who he is.
You put that, you can see that guy. Yeah. You see Cranky Chris. I don't know what the Passive Paul. That's weak, man. Yeah. That's like a weak first attempt at Garbage Pail Kids, you know? They're like, what do you think? And they're like, they're a little mild. Maybe we should spice them up a little bit.
I think we can go a lot harder than that.
I think we can go risque on it a little bit.
I'll bet we could throw Booger into a couple of them.
I mean, Passive Paul. Was he just standing there? It's just a guy standing there. Yeah. Passive Paul.
It's a shitty card. Nobody
it's a
wants
really
that
shitty
one.
card. What's he doing? Well, maybe maybe it's like one of those where if you turn it in the light, it does a different reflection.
That's the one that you will stick to things because you're not keeping it.
You don't care. Fuck this card.
Stuck it.
Yeah, you put it under the desk at school. So it was somebody said, quote, wow, I really had a hard time getting that one. I don't know who the hell said this.
Somebody said something.
Somebody said some shit, and I'm going to talk about it.
Great.
Amongst their football teammates, Chris and Paul generally stuck to themselves. That was their...
Oh.
Yeah, they were... If you have your own, like, twin...
You have plenty of time to hang out with each other.
I don't know why you can't hang out with each other with everybody else.
You probably sleep in the same bed.
Yeah, some twins have a weird thing going on. They appeared to be introverted and vulnerable without each other's support.
Oh.
They're always together. It's very weird. Their entire lives. They move together. They, if they have houses in the same neighborhood always that are within walking distance of each other. If one moves to another city, everybody's families pick up and move to that city.
It's like they're one kid.
It's a company move. It's weird. Very strange, like some sort of fundamentalist Mormon compound or something.
Well, if he doesn't move, then we're going to be late paying all our bills because he has that gene that reminds me to pay the mortgage.
Yeah,
so
otherwise I don't know.
He's coming with us.
And I have to tell him how to cook meals.
Right.
He doesn't know recipes.
I got all to take a look at the gas gauge in the car. Otherwise I'll run out of gas.
He never knows. So I looked at they're going to play for Newtown Jets after this, right? Who we've talked about before. So I looked up the league to find out, and I found some of these names of the teams are awesome. I love foreign country, even minor league American teams are great. So I found they have the Balmain Tigers. I don't know where Balmain is. The Canterbury Bankstown.
What is that?
I don't know what a Bankstown is. Okay. Is that a thing?
I don't know. Is that like a bad neighborhood?
Is that a noun or is that a fucking proper noun? Is that a place?
Bankstown this weekend to buy tile.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, Bankstown. You know how it goes there. Carpet. Can't get carpeting anywhere for the best price you're going to get it is in Bankstown. As always. Industrial carpeting is never cheaper than in Bankstown. Now, the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks.
That's good.
That's good. The Sharks, that's a good one. You're by the water, probably. Right. Eastern Suburbs Roosters. That's the one there.
What?
The Roosters.
The Eastern Suburbs.
The Manly Warringah Sea Eagles.
Jesus.
That is something right there. I like that one.
The Manly ones?
The Manly Warringah Sea Eagles.
Okay.
Manly is, I think, the place. Manly.
Got it.
Something. I don't know. Newtown Jets. North Sydney Bears.
Yep.
You got to have a Bears.
Yeah.
The Parramatta Eels.
Yeah.
Wow, is that an Italian team they brought in?
Yeah.
Parramatta sounds like a type of ham, doesn't it?
Or a way to prepare eels.
Do I want the prosciutto or the Parramatta? Give me a half pound of the prosciutto and a half pound of the... Give me a half of the Parramatta. Yeah, do that. I just don't want to... I'll mix them together, make a sandwich.
Is it Gino's Parramatta? That's the one
I want that. And some of the Locatelli I want too. Some of the Parmesan.
As long as it's Gino's, I'll eat it.
Yeah, I'll eat it. I'll check it out. The Penrith Panthers, which alliteration. I love it down there. The St. George Dragons, which sounds very British.
It does.
South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Yeah, that's a good team. The Rabbitohs, yeah. They got It's a cool jersey. It's red and green. It's a pretty bitchin' jersey. I like it a lot.
What's up with the rabbit in it?
I don't understand what the Rabbit-O is, but it's...
What the fuck is that? What does that mean?
It's just a rabbit.
What does that mean, Australia?
It's a hare. I don't know. It's a fucking rabbit on the jersey. It's a cool jersey.
All right. The Western Suburbs Magpies.
It always looks Christmas when they're playing because it's a very bright green and red.
Well, I like festive.
You'd enjoy it in December.
That's good.
In fucking February, they can pound sand.
So now, okay, they had to switch from union to league for this. This is called switching codes, okay? Which this doesn't happen all the time. This is actually not common,
okay?
Because the games are different. Want to know how they're different?
I'd love it.
Because I looked it up, and it's fucking hilarious because we don't know the difference between one or the other. We couldn't identify either one of them.
Yeah.
So to point the differences out will be awesome for us to try to figure out. So here it is. This is the history of it. Initially, following the 1885 split in rugby football. 1885 this is from. So they've had 125 years to figure out different names, and they couldn't do it. It's still union and league.
Yeah.
Pathetic. Okay, rugby union and rugby league differed in administration only. Soon, however, the rules of the rugby league were modified, resulting in two distinctly different forms of rugby with the same basic name. Right. After 100 years, in 1995, rugby union joined rugby league and most other forms of football as an openly professional sport.
Okay.
Because this is weird as shit. Okay. The similarities between rugby union and rugby league have at times led to the possibility of a merger of the two variants, and experimental hybrid games have been played that use a mix of the sport's two rules, which sounds very confusing for fans of either or.
Yeah.
That just sounds odd.
They can do that in this one.
Can they do that? Shit.
But neither knows that they can do that because it's a fucking hybrid.
That's what I mean. How do you find out?
It's not a rule in our league. Ours either. I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I don't know what they're doing. They made up a new rule.
I don't know why they can kick each other now.
Let's ask Paul Hogan. He knows everything. They go to his house like this. He's like the Yoda.
He has a blooming onion when he answers the door.
Got a blooming onion
Come on
for
in.
everyone. Hi, everybody. Who wants some onion?
Come on in. I chopped this with my knife.
I don't know why I gave him a southern accent.
I know.
If he was an American, he would have a heavy southern accent. That's the thing.
Would it blow your mind to find out that he's like from West Virginia and we're all snowed?
The Bayou, Louisiana.
All right, yeah.
He's from Louisiana.
That's what all the Gators. Crocs, same thing.
It's the same thing. He would love it.
I
down
want
there.
that so bad.
I would love that down there.
I want that to be like on his deathbed. Be like, I got all of you.
I'm really from Homer, Louisiana.
Hurricane Katrina ruined my life.
Oh, damn it. Go Pelicans. It's like falls over.
That's fantastic. I want that so bad.
I want that so bad. That'd be amazing. It's all fake.
Gotcha. And then he keels over.
I made so much money off them crocodile movies. Oh, shit. I almost called it Alligator Dundee, and somebody pointed it out. They were like, hold on a minute. I was like, oh, shit,
I was
you're
at
right.
3 junkets, and they were like, Crocodile Dundee is the greatest movie I've ever seen. And I was like, you mean yeah, you're right. Crocodile, you're right.
Yeah, that's right. You know it.
Gator Dundee.
Gator Dundee, boy. I tell you what, Gator Dundee gonna come around here. Do a little something. I'm surprised that hasn't been on American Crocodile Dundee.
Gator Dundee?
Gator Dundee. That's just Joe Dirt, though, I think, at that point. He wouldn't, like, know how to do things. He'd just be a dirtbag.
Yeah, he's just a guy that can work on a Pinto.
Yeah, he'd know where to get meth.
Yeah.
If you really wanted
meth
some.
and El Camino parts.
Oh.
On a whim, like right now.
No, from the same guy, probably. He got pills, too, if you want some. We call him General because he's the general store around these parts. So let's see here. General Gerald, because we like alliteration around here. And his name's Gerald.
Holy fuck.
So, Jesus Christ. Rugby union, apparently, was originally referred to as rugby football.
But
Okay. During the early development of rugby football, different schools used different rules, on many occasions agreeing upon them shortly before commencement of the game. Again, which sounds like utter chaos at that point. Imagine a football game. They're like, so this game, okay, you only need to get 1 foot in bounds for it to be a catch.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as pass interference. All right, play. You'd be like, the fuck do we play that game now? That's a different game plan.
Neutral zones don't exist.
It doesn't exist. Just encroach away.
It's just the line.
Encroach away. As many people in motion as you want, offense. Just run around like a fire drill.
Wide receivers don't have to be on the line. You can step back a bit.
No, but the offensive linemen don't either. Just everybody can run around like their heads on fire. It's up to you. We got a freedom.
Safeties don't have to wear helmets.
No, the only safeties, though. Everyone else has to wear 2 helmets. That's how it works. Those are the rules.
Today we're going with kickers, no shoes.
No
That's
shoes,
what we're doing.
that's it. And they all have to play quarterback.
It is 12 degrees and snowing.
We said no shoes.
No shoes, Rich Carlos. Get out there. It's a good old Denver
You're going to
Bronco
play
reference.
for 30 years. Who gives a shit?
That was so weird to see that guy trotting around in the snow with one. Put a shoe on. What's wrong with you?
Fucking weirdo.
Yeah. In 1871, English clubs met to form the Rugby Football Union. Rugby football spread to Australia and New Zealand, with games being played in the early to mid-19th century, so kind of like same time as baseball. In 1892, charges of professionalism, oh boy, in other words, paying your players, were laid against Yorkshire clubs after they compensated players for missing work. They'd have players who had day jobs, so if they had to miss work to play a game, they would pay them
whatever their wage was.
Well, who knows what
Comparable,
it was.
sure, I'm sure.
Yeah, so they said that system could be abused, and that's professionalism. That's not like.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Like that. A proposal to pay players up to 6 shillings when they missed work because of match commitments was voted down by the RFU. Okay. Oh boy. RFU. You're not getting paid shit. So on August 27th, 1895, prominent Lancashire clubs declared they would support the Yorkshire colleagues in their proposal to form a professional organization called the Northern Rugby Football Union. So that's how they did that. The rugby union authorities issued sanctions against clubs, players, and officials involved in the offshoot group, including amateurs who played with or against Northern Union sides. So this was like just a big thing here. So after the schism, the separate codes were named Rugby Union for the RFU and Rugby League for the NU. So that's how it worked here. And then in 1906, all black George William Smith, not all black like Mark Busby, played on the team, right. Joined with Albert Henry Baskerville, who should solve crimes in his spare time, I feel like. I picture a very Sherlock Holmes-looking man there, don't you?
What is his name?
Albert Henry Baskerville.
Yeah.
Don't you? That sounds very official.
It's a lot of words.
Yeah, like if my mom is murdered, I want him on the case.
Albert Henry?
We have Albert Henry Baskerville in from Scotland Yard. I'd be like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's on now.
Scotland Yard certainly follows that name.
It's fucking on now. Yeah. So they formed a team of professional rugby players. George Smith cabled a friend in Sydney, and the 3 professional matches were arranged, and that's how it all started here. The Rugby League, so that's basically the deal here. So since then, they've been kind of fighting, I guess. Not fighting, but they've been, it's two, you either like one or you like the other with the fans, pretty much. It seems like, from what I've read. I could be completely wrong, but I'm not sure. New York Times said about it, quote, 13-man rugby league has shown itself to be faster, more open game of better athletes than the other code. Rugby union is trying to negotiate its own escape from amateurism, with some officials admitting that the game is too slow, the laws too convoluted to attract a larger TV following. Okay. The other game's faster. Yeah, they're paying players. So
it's basically like as if people really liked arena football instead of the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It would be like, but it's different because these guys, one is paying and one like kind of isn't. It's a limited thing. They're paying, but it's a limited. It's just different. Yeah, it's you're getting more money. That's going to get better athletes, faster game, better to watch. Obviously here. So now. Jesus. I hear some rules I found here, which I don't understand at all.
This is not going to be good.
This is going to be ugly. Possession may change in rugby league in a number of ways. This is compared to rugby union. They have, oh my God, this makes no sense at all, Jimmie.
More ways to get the ball.
Possession may change the same way in both games, okay? Mm-hmm. When a ball is kicked to the opposing team, this can be done at any time, but it's normal to punt on the last tackle in rugby league. Well, sure. I mean, if you have up until the last tackle, why would you want to do it any time before then?
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you wait until the end?
Right.
I mean, I guess if you want to like get it all done ahead of time.
Sure.
But I like to procrastinate. I'm going to do it on the last one.
I want to do it in the last fucking possible opportunity.
Right? You know? Following an unsuccessful kick at goal, if the kick at goal misses and goes dead, play is restarted without a dropout at the 22-meter line.
Okay. So it's like a touchback.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking here. When an opposing player intercepts a pass, that seems pretty obvious. When the player in possession drops a fumble, all right, when there's a fumble. If a player knocks the ball forward or throws a forward pass, the other team is awarded a scrum.
Yeah,
which
we know all about that.
We know all about the scrum. That's when they pin a little thing that looks like a nutsack to your jersey.
Right.
That means you're awarded a scrum, and then you hand it in later on when you want to cash it in.
For your juice box at the end of the game.
That's it. Yeah. And then a man teabags you. So in some cases, the referee may allow play to continue by the team picking up a dropped ball under the advantage. Well, I have no idea what any of that means. Okay, we don't know what that means. So let's move on to the Newtown Jets 1972 team. Look, their biggest home crowd that year, 9,598.
That's a lot.
9,600. Yeah, 9,500 people. We'd love to have that.
Fuck yeah.
That'd be amazing. So everybody, for the live show, let's outdraw the Newtown Jets versus St. George in round 18 from 1972.
We're pretty close.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So their average home crowd, 5,697 there, and their top point scorer was Ken Wilson with 97.
That seems like a lot.
Here's Chris.
Yeah.
Look at him go.
He's got a headband.
That's his card. That's his.
They got cards, of course.
Yeah,
they do.
rugby cards, man. Check them out.
Their football
He's
sucks.
running. He's got that giant football there.
Yeah.
It's white with gold stripes on it,
The front looks like a giant titty.
It looks like a Christmas ornament. This thing,
yeah.
the white with the gold stripes.
Is that a gold stripe?
They're gold. Those stripes, I think, they're brown or something. But it looks like a Christmas ornament. It really does. Looks like you'd hang it from a tree if it was smaller. It's like a huge egg that he's carrying. Don't touch
me egg.
Don't touch me egg as he's running. They're trying to get me egg. So there's that. 1973 on Newtown. Manly Warringah was the top road draw for him that year. 94-07 they had that many people. Ken Wilson had 101 goals scored. Our point scored that year.
Okay.
So that Ken Wilson's a fucking beast.
He's good at this.
I don't know if that's a lot, but it's the most they had.
Seems like a lot.
It really does. Now Chris is playing in the second row, which I don't know
how important that is.
What that means exactly.
Do they have 4 rows? Yeah.
I wish everybody was here for that. Jimmie, do they have 4 rows? I just gave him the blankest look ever.
Who knows?
I can't even make
Maybe
up an
they
answer to
do,
that.
Jimmie.
Possible. Maybe they have 10.
If they have 6, they certainly have 4, right?
I mean, then they have 4. If they have 8, then there's 6.
There might only be 3.
There could be 3. Either way, we know they have 2.
At least
because
2.
he's in the second one of them. So I don't know anything beyond that. Either way, him and his brother Paul are both the same position and the same deal here for the Jets here. The Dawson brothers were part of the New South Wales Rugby League Championship winning team of 1973.
He got himself a rugby
ring? He's kicking.
Cock ring? Who knows?
I think that's what they give out. It's a
cock ring.
Well, it's a scrum.
Yeah.
They give you out a scrum, which is
They pierce your scrum.
There's some hair on it. It's a weird award. It's very strange.
Right.
And then they give you the golden cock ring, which I feel like
the Golden Prince Albert. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Right
and
through the
you
tip.
take that. There you go, everybody. Well, it's a choice.
Yeah.
Not everyone's into that.
Right.
But if you want the cock ring, you take the cock ring.
He's a fucking nail gun.
I mean,
through your balls if you want.
What are you going to do? Hey, who knows? So in 1974, this is the weirdest stat I've ever heard in the history of any team.
Yeah.
There's like 18 guys on the team, basically. There's not a lot of people on a rugby team.
Sure.
Under 20 or 20 or whatever. It's not a football team. It's not like 53, like American football or whatever, or like a college team with 100. In 1974, that season, the Newtown Jets had 5 sets of brothers on the team. Think about that.
No sport's ever done that.
Yeah, like half the team, more than half the team was sets of brothers. I've never heard of this before.
That's unbelievable.
Is that the weirdest stat you've ever heard?
So weird.
And like multiple of them are criminals as well, which
Really?
is fucked up. Well, Paul Hayward, and then we have Chris Dawson, obviously, and then Gary Sullivan's on the team as well.
And his brother.
And his brother, obviously. I'm not shitting you. Gary Sullivan and his brother are both, Gary and Rob Sullivan are both on the team.
It's like they sat him down at the interview and were like, "You're hired."
Yeah.
Got a brother?
Your brother. Well, that was before you're hired.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we like everything. You know, your stats, you're amazing. We love your athleticism. You're a team
The only
player.
thing we didn't know.
Let me ask you this, though. Do you have a brother? Is he good at rugby?
Will he play?
Will he play? No? You got a young dad, maybe? Can we get somebody in here? Like a Ken Griffey situation happening?
How close is your uncle?
Yeah, what are we talking about here? Got a cousin, maybe we can...
They got 5 sets of brothers,
5
10 people in total.
Our brothers, Gary and Rob Sullivan, Kevin and John Bradstock, Lionel and Henry Williamson, Brian and Mark Robertson, and then twins Chris and Paul Dawson.
That is so weird.
That's the weirdest statistic in the history of sports.
It's almost like they did that on purpose.
They obviously like having brothers on the team. I don't know if on the field they feel like they
gel better together. There's
gel,
camaraderie,
or there's
forced
more
camaraderie.
of a fight for your brother. I don't know what the hell it is, or I don't even know, or if it's like you just have like a replacement, like their backup is like their brother, so it's like hey, sort of like him. You just throw him in there,
At least half the same DNA.
It's so strange. It's like, I mean, the Orioles had Cal and Billy Ripken. Great, you know, basketball teams have a couple guys, football teams have a couple guys, but 5 sets?
5 of them? I've never heard of 2.
I've never heard of. That'd be wild.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that weird? 2 sets of brothers on the same team? 5?
That's unbelievable.
It's so fucked up. Chris is he's known as he's got a big image.
Yeah.
Because he plays for this team. They won a championship. him and his twin, they stand out because they're twins. Everybody knows the Barbers because they're fucking twins.
For sure.
They were also really good, but you know them a little bit more because they're those identical twins.
Pretty handsome, the both of them,
and
too.
They're both handsome. They're both well-spoken.
Yeah.
They're both good on TV.
They both look amazing bald.
Yeah, they're both
incredible bald.
Their roundness.
Yes.
It's so smooth.
Yeah.
Like they might have like beautiful heads of hair.
Maybe.
Don't have them because your head is gorgeous bald.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's no reason to have hair.
If there's ever been a perfect bald head, it's Tiki and Rondé.
The Barbers. And you would have it would be a travesty to grow hair.
Truly.
It really would. Fuck everything up.
Injustice to yourself.
To your scalp.
And to your parents.
To your scalp, Jimmy. That's what's an injustice to. You shave that thing. Not even shave it, just wax it. You're permanent. So,
find a laser place that'll treat your head
that's it.
And keep it like that forever.
Forever. So Lynette here, Lynn, Chris's wife, her uncle Bob Sims said that Chris at this time, quote, was like a film star in that area. He was just this huge star. The team was good, and he's a handsome guy, and he's treated very well. Him and his brother have a lot of endorsements.
Okay.
They do commercials. They do like print ads.
Oh, that's so easy.
Stores and that's what I mean.
Will sell so much shit.
And absolutely, and they make good money from that, and it just makes them even more famous. Even though on the field they're not really
that impressive.
They're not like the stars of the team, the leading scorers. They're not in any of that shit. They stand out.
The people's champ.
The people's champion.
Yeah.
So he says, this is the uncle again. In fact, he starred in a couple of television ads. He seemed to be a good style of a man back then, but I think it went to their heads. He and his twin brother.
Yeah.
Obviously.
We knew who he meant.
Yeah. Well, there.
Calm down.
He and his twin brother, in case you didn't know.
That's who we mean.
But I'll show you a picture of them in an ad in a minute, and you'll be like, "Oh boy, yeah, that's how does that not go to your head a little bit here?"
Sure.
But he's like him and his brother are like that's what an Australian man is right there, athletic, blonde, fucking smiley, that kind of guy. So in 1975, he and his brother appeared on an episode of the ABC program Checkerboard, with a Q, of course, devoted to the special relationship between twins. Okay. This is when you start to see some of the weirdness in a public forum here. During that program, the brothers were filmed watching each other as they lifted weights in front of a mirror.
What?
Which is maybe the most... I don't know if it makes it more homoerotic or less homoerotic that they're twin brothers. Is that more or less?
They are the DNA same guy?
Yeah. Is that more or less homoerotic?
As you watch a man watching himself and you feel like you're watching yourself, that's a bizarre moment.
That's what I mean.
That's a very bizarre moment.
I am glad someone captured that on film. I'm going to be real honest with you because that's fucking weird. I don't know if
We're both watching the same thing and it's both of us watching ourselves.
Yeah.
So weird.
And then you'd have to cave the other guy's skull in with a fucking weight, I would imagine, with a barbell.
There can only be one.
There can only be one. Stand over him. I just couldn't take it anymore. So this is, I think this is Paul who says, quote, quite often you'll see a reflection of yourself and straight away you'll think, that it's the other one. And of course it's on realization that it's obviously yourself. You sort of have a little chuckle inwardly that you yourself could be confused.
You imagine walking down the street and then there's a mirror next to you and you go, hey Chris, shit, that's me.
Oh.
Oh my God, it's me.
It's me.
You guys, it's Passive Paul right here. Look in the mirror.
Shit.
I thought it was Cranky Chris.
Fuck me. Look at that. Oh, man, look at my hair's off.
Amazing.
It's a mess. Jesus.
I almost told Chris to fix his hair.
Yeah, I was just going to tell him, hey, Chris, a little saliva.
Chris, you got something in your teeth. I have something in my teeth.
I ate broccoli for lunch.
That's
nuts. Right. So he said, our whole lives are really mirrored reflections of each other. Is that normal? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a twin, and I've known more sets of twins, I believe, than is it normal to know for some reason. Yeah, I've known many sets of identical twins, which is very weird. Yeah. Is that strange? How many? How many sets of identical twins?
Probably 6 identical and maybe 4 of the other. Yeah.
But the others, the other one.
Those people. The bullshit twins.
The bullshit twins. Except when it's a boy and a girl and they're identical.
Yeah.
And one just has long hair.
That's weird.
They're obviously not identical scientifically,
right.
but they're, they just look seriously
for all
identical.
intents and purposes, fucking
I know a
identical.
couple of those. And I'm like, oh boy. That's weird.
I went to school with one, a boy and a girl, and it's not, I didn't like it.
It's very
It's a little
strange.
creepy, yeah.
It's really creepy. I did too. A guy I knew since kindergarten, and I went to kindergarten. Him and his twin sister were both there, and
especially if you kind of like the assets and features of the female.
I didn't, because
then
I
it's
just
weird
saw
to see
him. I just saw his head, so I never even couldn't look past it.
Yeah,
couldn't look. But it's not her fault. I mean, she was fine. There's nothing wrong with her. She
Cute
was
girl,
a pretty girl, I guess.
Just sucks. I know her brother.
It's like, man, you look just like your brother, who I.
If he had
monster.
incredible breasts, I might like him a little more. Your brother's a real piece of shit. But if he had your breasts, it'd be a different story.
He was chubby at one point, and he had some jugs in
rivaling him.
about the 7th grade, and it was like, you know what, you two, if you grew your hair long, I couldn't tell you apart. So this is, Jesus Christ, this is such a creepy thing here. Whole life are mirrored reflections of each other. The interviewer asked them if it was hard on their wives to be married to twins because, quote, they can scarcely be said just to be married to one man when you're so close. So, yeah.
That's a reporter going, do you ever blow him by accident? You ever hit your tonsils and go, oh, my God, Paul, I'm so sorry.
Your wife ever fucked your brother and been like, oh, I made a mistake this morning? No. Which they're always, if you marry one, you're marrying the other one. Sure. They're always in each other's presence. So they laughed about that. And the interviewer asked if they'd ever, quote, pulled the trick on their wives, swapping themselves.
Gross.
And they all had a good laugh about that, which I hope not. That's not okay.
I don't know that that's even funny.
But it's definitely not legal. I'll tell you that much. It's certainly not. Things that it isn't. Let's run them down from the top. Legal, funny, I'd say right
appropriate.
There. Appropriate.
Yeah. Nice to your wife.
I'll throw moral in there probably.
There's a lot of things it's not.
A bunch of stuff it's not. Things it is.
Illegal.
Gross, illegal, not okay. So that's really creepy. Paul said, no. And Chris said, that's a clear no. No, we haven't. And Paul said, certainly that's an emphatic no. But they were all laughing the whole time. And, of course not.
Why do they keep saying no? We get it. We heard the first time.
No.
You're
we've
starting
never
to
done that,
convince
right?
me the other way.
No, we've never done that,
No.
right? That's my wife, right?
Emphatic no.
Emphatic no.
Jesus.
Do they have twin penises?
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
I would assume their DNAs are the same, so their DNA is the same. So or their fingerprints and all that shit the same too.
The penis size?
It would be a shame if one had a giant cock and they were identical.
That would be
otherwise,
horrific.
that'd be terrible. You wouldn't want to. You got all the cock gene. It's not fair.
As a twin, would you be like, if you were insignificant about yours, not insignificant, what's the word? Insecure. If you felt insecure about the thing, would you be like, can I just see to make sure that we should both feel like this?
They should both. Yeah, they both got it. You
show me. I'll gladly show you this. It's a joke.
These twins.
We're both going to laugh about this.
They see each other's balls.
It better be the same.
4
way.
times a week.
Yeah.
I would say these two, just the way they are.
There would be more murder if one got.
Yeah. They would. You have to. They said, but when they first started dating twins, I think they realized the relationship between the twins. I think they tend to accept it. That's what Paul says. That they're going to be close, and they wouldn't enter into anything like marriage unless they did accept this. This bond or this relationship between their husband and his twin. And then they talked to Lynn, Chris's wife here, Lynn Dawson, who just makes me want to say Len Dawson, the old quarterback.
I'm on board.
Len Dawson spoke about this. Lynn Dawson addressed what it was like to be married to an identical twin. She said, I hadn't put into any thought into sharing him until somebody a couple of years ago said, what's it like sharing a husband? And to me, it just seems so silly because I hadn't put any thought into it, and you just join in. You encourage their closeness, not that it needs encouragement.
What a weird way of looking at that.
It's very strange. I don't know if that's a...
You have to understand going into it that there's a whole thing that happens, obviously. It's a lot to take in. You're not just marrying one man. You're marrying like a whole family
You're
thing.
marrying the whole...
It's a whole situation.
Yeah.
It's not...
You're marrying another couple as well.
It's not necessarily sharing a husband. That's a weird way of putting it.
But how many meals are you eating without the other twin and all that?
It better be a lot.
That's what I mean. It's a compound.
I don't need you around all the fucking time.
Here is an ad, one of their print ads.
What?
Look at that.
What is that?
She's sitting on It's like
it's a shop for men's clothes.
1970s department store.
If you buy clothes here,
David
you can
Jones.
also, I don't know,
David Jones department
share a
store.
woman with your brother. That's weird.
She's wearing a Jets jersey there.
Yeah.
And if you can see, one of the brothers is on one knee with the other knee up, and the woman is sitting on his knee like a chair.
Yeah.
And then and he's got his arm around her, and then the other brother is like behind her, grabbing her arm and like groping the other side of her, and she's looking back smiling. She
with
looks
an open shirt.
Yeah, he's got a completely open shirt with a small medallion, like a 70s chest hair,
right?
Just a little chest hair rider there. And then the other one's got checkered shirt. He's wearing all denim too.
Right.
The one brother.
It's a tug of war almost between come over here, let's be filthy in my button shirt and jeans, and the other one's like, I'll propose to you and treat you like a lady.
There's an Eiffel Towering happening.
Absolutely.
Like the second in between frames of this, right? Like they look like she looks really happy about it. And they're like, yeah, it's on. So this is creepy. This is, let's see here.
It's a very strange ad.
It's a very strange ad. So I don't know what they were thinking, but that's the type of stuff they were doing. I saw this other one where they were wearing like these leather jackets identical together from some other ad for some shit. They played for the same club, the same position over the same period. They both ended their time together in 77, we'll talk about. After that, they both went to teachers college, took identical roles at nearby schools.
Unbelievable.
It's weird. They both held part-time jobs as garbage collectors, models, and personal trainers. They jogged every morning like next to each other. They each ended up having 3 daughters.
What?
Yeah, they each ended up over time, both ended up with 3 daughters.
That's unbelievable.
It's really fucking weird.
Their LinkedIn page is identical too.
It's pretty much
everything is the same.
At a certain point. Up until about 1981, their LinkedIn pages are identical.
Wow.
They're fucking everything's
Same
identical.
resume.
And then it gets way different for Chris. His resume goes way off in another direction.
He's had enough of it.
Yeah, he has not mirrored. Well, I mean, not really. We'll talk about it. So later on, one of the brothers said, quote, it's great being a twin because you have a friend for life no matter what happened. And the other one says, we love it. We always asked to be in the same classes at school, and we have played the same sports together all of our lives. So apparently their first team they were on, the Eastern Suburbs team in the rugby union, apparently one player was better. I don't know if Chris or Paul was better, but they chose to play for that team because that was the only team that would take both of them.
Wow.
And they weren't playing alone. So that's how weird this whole situation is.
That's
here.
exhausting, man.
It's really strange here. They both end up completing teaching diplomas and all this type of shit later on at Balmain's Teachers College, and they get arts degrees through the other. It's really weird. They both become PE teachers.
Really?
I mean, they're both rugby.
May as well, yeah.
Makes sense. One person said, in his youth, Chris was continually trying to live up to the standards set by his older twin brother. There was, in my submission, a form of sibling competition between the two twin brothers with respect to relationships with women, finance, employment, status, sporting prowess, and property. Chris Dawson was known amongst his peers for incidents of infidelity. Chris, they like to play around. They love the lifestyle. They really enjoy the fact that they're like have this Playboy image and like, women like them and they're in ads where they're groping. They're groping a happy woman together, like, and she's into it.
They're doing an ad where they're about to share a woman.
And she's like, yeah,
and she's into it.
She's fucking requested it. You know what I'm saying? She was like,
she hired them.
Is your brother around? Yeah. Like, it's really strange here. So it's weird. Some of these infidelities included the participation of his twin brother Paul, and there's evidence in that sex was organized for his brother as a form of gift giving.
Wow.
It's like I got you a woman
that we will share.
Ew. Which is really, I don't want to have, I'm happy I'm not a twin.
I would never want, I don't want anything that you bought me that we're going to do together.
I don't want anyone to buy me a woman.
No.
Don't buy me a
That's
person,
one thing.
first of all.
Yeah.
This isn't, a fucking Richard Pryor, the toy. Like, I don't want to be bought a human.
Unless it's a pizza, don't buy me anything we're going to share.
Exactly. You can do that.
Yeah.
Pizza, a bag of weed, a bottle of booze.
It's very rare that there's anything I want you to buy me that you're going to partake with me.
Yeah, not a person.
A person is not it.
At all.
No?
Please don't buy me humans. So, the form of gift giving. Chris Dawson's self-esteem appears to have depended upon being able to keep up appearances with his twin brother. But they're doing great. They're playboys. The Eiffel Tower and models all over the place.
It's too much.
Grace. This is Grace. Champion rugby guys.
I'm breaking a sweat just thinking about him living his life.
He's having
so much.
He's having a great life, although weird, and I wouldn't want it.
I don't want the life.
I don't want any
Seems
of that
to be what
stuff.
he wants.
But for him, he's happy as can be here.
Yeah.
75, the Jets, she's on there again. John Bradstock is the top point scorer that year.
Yeah.
Their attendance looks to be down. Biggest home crowd that year, 7905.
Still great.
Still good, but their average attendance is down 1,000 too. So it's a little
lot of
lower.
empty seats.
We don't know what's going on in the 70s over there. So 76, the same deal here. They biggest home crowd this year, 5773.
Oh, it's not going well.
Going bad. Average home crowd 3851.
That's bad.
Which is down 700 people. That's not great. Yeah, not good at all. Top point scorer is Brian Robertson. Oh boy. And then 77 there last year with the team. The brothers here, they biggest home crowd 5743, so it stays the same way. Paul Hayward was one of the captains that year.
Wow.
One of our other subjects. So top point scorer Jeff Hunt, who only had 39. Every other year it's like 80 to 100.
Right.
This guy had 39, so they didn't have a good year that year. I have a feeling. I looked Paul's stats. They don't have. I'm 176. He had his 17 appearances. It looks like 6 T's. I don't know what a T is.
Yeah.
Tackles
or timeouts.
Touchdowns, timeouts.
He called 6 timeouts.
Twin fucking. I don't know what he did. 6 of those. He had
towerings. Go on.
2 of them in 77.
Yeah.
18 points. That's right. We figured this out. Something's worth 3 points. The T is worth 3 points apparently because then he had 2 and then it was 6. So
okay.
We're doing that there. So I don't know. He had 11 total T's in the stats we have here for him. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Tries.
Yes. Thank you.
That's it.
Tries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Tries.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck they score at, but
whatever. No G's though. So no goals I feel like. None at all.
Or gains.
Something. But he had none of them.
Okay.
He's in games. I don't know how he would have. I don't know. Anyway. So either way, he does good or bad. We're not positive.
He's contributing.
He's on the team and he's very popular. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
We don't know how his sports are. So after Newton here, Newtown, whatever the hell it is, both brothers, like we said, go to teaching school. They're doing modeling work.
Sure.
They're still doing all of that. They buy blocks of land a few hundred meters apart from each other.
Okay.
Which is, same neighborhood. And there's a map where one guy's house is here, one guy's house is there.
Houses in between, or they're like neighbors with land?
A little of both. There's a couple houses and then some trees and land and shit like that.
But they're close.
Oh, they're walking distance.
Yeah.
I mean, you can obviously walk there. If they were going to jog in the morning, they'd meet in the middle in 2 minutes. So this was on Sydney's northern beaches in Gilwinga Drive at Bayview.
Sounds beautiful.
It looked nice from the pictures I've seen.
The beaches of that area.
It's gorgeous.
Are fucking unbelievable.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Australia is one of those countries. There is some beautiful stuff there. Like 2.5% of that country is gorgeous. It is. I'm not even fucking around.
Right.
The very tips, and then it's desert after that. It looks like
hellscape.
Arizona.
Yeah.
It's Arizona, which you can't be insulted because we live in the same hellscape, and it's just an ugly hellscape. It's
death.
It's hot, and no one should live there.
At least you got a beach. Enjoy yourself.
You have a lot of beach all around you, so enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's a compliment. Arizona has like certain points where you're like, that's sort of pretty, but the rest of it is just hell.
To get to a beach, we have to go to a foreign country.
Yeah.
That's our closest beach.
Pretty much. So they, both the brothers employ the same house builder, the same contractor to construct the houses too in these areas. They both bought like big plots of land and built houses, built their dream homes on them. Using the same builder.
Yeah.
So this is very weird. They use the same company to put in swimming pools at the same time.
God damn it.
Like, after it was built. Very weird shit.
Down to the contractor they use.
Everything is the same. Lynn and Paul actually had Lynn and Chris had a hard time conceiving, actually. They were trying to have children and had a hard time with it. Finally, they have Chanel in 1977, and then in 1979 they have Sharon.
Okay.
So they had been trying since they got married.
Yeah.
It finally
and then they had a third later.
And then, we'll talk about it. He has a third later.
Okay.
So we'll talk all about it. So they both leave the. That's fucking amazing. They also play more rugby. They go to play with the Gosford Townies on the Central Coast. Mm-hmm. I have no idea if that's a good league, a good team. The Gosford Townies sounds like a softball team where guys get drunk. But in Boston, it might be at a Townies. Yeah, fuck them Harvard assholes. MIT can suck my cock.
Can we wrap this up? The Bruins are playing.
Come on already. So they were, that team won the 1978 premiership, apparently, of whatever the fuck league that is. So good for them, and the Dawsons contributed, I guess, well to that. So they later, after that, spent 2 seasons as joint captain coaches of their local Belrose Eagles.
Okay.
So they're doing this, and they're also doing shit on the side, and they're getting their teaching degrees. They got a lot going on right now, having kids,
looking for the future, keeping things moving.
They're both trying to set up their post-football life. They know this is the end here.
Yeah, and this is very temporary. Yeah, and temporary is about to expire.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're setting everything up. 1980 is when both of their careers wrap up. So they play for the same team, same coaches, same positions. Same length. Oh, they played together.
Longevity over at the same time.
They never were on a team without the other one, either of the guys. They played always together. Even they were joint captain coaches on the one team. Like, just when one's playing, the other one's coach, when the other one's playing, the other one's coach. Really weird. So 1980, though, their rugby careers wrap up, and Chris and Paul Dawson actually take full-time jobs as teachers at this point, as PE teachers. So they're gym teachers at public high schools on the North Shore and northern beaches of Sydney. Dawson is teaching at Cromer High School in 1981. This is Chris Dawson here. And Chris is a PE teacher there, and his brother is, 5 miles away at another school being a PE teacher. So it's really weird.
Yeah.
They could switch and go to different schools that day. Mr.
I don't know how to handle this.
I don't know who you are.
The principal is really up my ass. I don't know how to handle it. You know how I'd handle it? Why don't you handle it? You want to handle it?
Go ahead.
Just
go
there.
Come handle it.
Head on over there, Chris.
This kid, he's such a fucking asshole. I swear to God, I can't even describe what an asshole. You know what? Switch places with me.
You know me. I'm passive.
Deal with him for a day.
You're cranky. Yeah. You head over there.
You crank him up for a day. So they do that. So they're teaching. This is, like I said, 1980. They start teaching full time. By late 1980, there's some rumblings, we'll say, kind of around school and around the neighborhood. That he is a little bit too close to a female student. A female student who's 16 years old.
What the fuck, man?
Named Joanne Curtis. Apparently, she has a lot of problems at home. She has her mom married a guy who is a violent alcoholic.
I feel you.
And she's having, she doesn't get along with him. Obviously, right. Most of the time it's hard to get along with your violent alcoholic stepfather. You don't hear, my stepfather was a horrible violent alcoholic. We got along great.
Best
great
friends.
guy.
Yeah.
We went to the football games together. It was wonderful. Just a great guy. Everyone else, he was a monster, but we got along famously. Very odd to hear that.
He loved me because every time he would get mad, I would grab him another beer.
I'd just be like,
I knew it was time.
He knew. We both knew it was time.
And then we'd throw his empties at the kids as they crossed the street.
Yeah. That's how it always works. So this doesn't sound, the rumors are that he's a bit close, but at the same time, he's...
Perhaps he's helping.
Mentoring. If this girl needs a father figure.
Boy, does she.
He's like 32 years old at this point. He's twice her age. If she needs a father figure, obviously, just to go, hey, not everybody's an abusive alcoholic. I can be a decent example of a person, but that's where it's got to end, obviously. You can't be too close with a 16-year-old student of yours.
And I don't think that exists.
That's the thing. So...
Anywhere.
So
no matter how much those fucking creeps want us to believe it.
No, that's showing up early with orange slices. That's what that is, as we've discussed many times.
Yeah.
You want the parent to coach, in case you're new to the show, if you have a child and they play like a little league, let's say, or whatever sport, soccer, you want the coach to be the parent who least wants to do it.
Right.
That's what you want. You want the guy who's fucking shows up and he's like, my fucking head is pounding on 8. It's he's got a giant coffee at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. His eyes are glassy and he's like, oh my God, I hope nobody hurts themselves, because I can't. My head, if there's sirens from an ambulance, I'm going to lose my shit.
I can't even begin to think of the steps of CPR.
That guy will never molest your kid.
Yeah.
He can't wait to get rid of your kid so he can now go have a beer.
He does not love your kid. Matter of fact, he fucking hates your kid.
Yeah, he's only doing this so he doesn't feel bad that he doesn't spend as much time with his kid as he should. Yeah. That's the only reason why he's doing it. He's doing it.
He's not going to show your kid any affection because he's incapable.
Yeah. It'll look good at the next child support hearing, so that's why he's doing it. That guy's fine.
He wants a couple more hours a week with his own kid.
That guy's going to be a great coach for your kid, okay?
Probably win.
Probably you're going to do great. At least winning is not having a sore butthole after T-ball practice, so that's a win.
You're winning.
The guy who it's 7:20 on a Saturday morning and he's sitting there with a big thing of orange slices and a smile on his face, rip roaring to go.
Goals are already set up and the balls are out.
Oh, he's gonna diddle the shit out of your kids. He is so jacked to get this going. I don't trust him.
Matter of fact, he wants you to leave so that he has more time with your child.
Yeah, or no, this is how you really gotta bend your knees and get down on the ball. No.
It's all in the hip. Let me show you with my hands where your
bastards.
hips are.
So he and Joanne Curtis, like I said, it could be just a nice, fatherly mentorship relationship, but still it's inappropriate if it's passing the line of school. And
of a different, the thing is, the man can mentor boys. Fine, I'm fine with that. I don't want a 32-year-old man mentoring 16-year-old girls.
No, you stay away from a 16-year-old girl.
Fuck,
it's
man.
just I don't trust him at all. So 1981, though, beginning of 1981, this is very odd. Chris has Joanne move into their house to be a full-time babysitter for them and to get her out so she says to get her out of her house because she couldn't. There was, she said, quote, I had nowhere else to go, is the way she put it. Yeah. So she was kind of out on her ass, and he said, well, you can be the full-time babysitter here.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
It's the story. So she said she began babysitting for them and then moved in there because of everything that was going on at home. And The problem is, and that's fine, it's weird, but I don't know. There's been weirder shit, I guess, than that. And I don't know what the cultural thing is, if it's normal to have a 16-year-old girl living in your house to watch your kids. I have no idea.
It's either the kindest thing that you can do for somebody or the most underhanded, filthy thing to do.
Or the creepiest, weirdest for many reasons. On your wife, on your family, on that kid.
Yeah.
Well, Joanne, the young lady, at one point, they're out at this family swimming pool, and she's swimming topless in the pool.
What?
So that was an odd thing, and Lynette began to get suspicious at this point of, why does this girl feel comfortable to be topless in my pool?
Now?
What's up with that?
Yeah.
I get an even tan, but what the fuck, you know? So she says, Joanne says, quote, Lynn confronted me and said to me, "You've been taking liberties with my husband." I didn't know what to say. That is a very classy way to put that.
Yeah.
You've been taking liberties with my husband. That sounds like she just reaches in his pants and plays with his cock without him even, hey, you're taking liberties here.
Just checking.
Taking liberties.
Just seeing if it's in there.
Wow, that's really classy.
See you grilling those hamburgers?
Good job.
You look like you were working hard. Wanted to reward you with my liberties.
Liberties. Lynette is a classy lady here, taking liberties with my husband. And Joanne said, I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
I'll put your tits away first.
And
then figure it out.
Put a shirt on.
Meanwhile, Chris was also over this time apparently being very, very mean to Lynette over things. Apparently, Joanne said that he would try to chip away at her confidence over time. Very abusive type of shit. She said, quote, he was very cold and used to sing songs to her that had double meanings, that he didn't care about her and that she was physically unattractive.
Wow.
So he would sing like mocking songs like you would do in fourth grade. I assume they're just all alliterative anyway. It's,
he's writing country songs.
Yeah, he's like, lanky Lynette, that's whatever the fuck. You're not attractive. Lardy Lynette, whichever direction the weight he's trying to say she is, or something like that. Some shit that rhymes, that alliterative with Lynette.
Lard ass Lynette.
I don't know what it was, but ridiculous.
Yeah.
Being an asshole. That's the shitty thing to do here, is the mother of your fucking kids in your house.
It's horrible.
Move somebody in and make fun of her. That's fucked up. She said, quote, just digging away at her, just singing songs that were to wear her down, just to upset her.
Is he writing these, or are these already exist?
I think he's just making them up. Like,
just writing mean-spirited songs?
I don't know if he's like Weird Al, like if he sits down with a notebook or something.
He's sitting there going, eat it, just eat it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like a surgeon. I don't know if he does that.
Yeah.
Or if he's like just singing a song and then replacing words as we do to sing No Body, No Crime and things of that nature from Small Town Murder. You never know how that's going. So the thing is, this is kind of a weird thing. And what does his brother know about this whole thing here? Does his brother know that he's having a weird, inappropriate relationship with a 16-year-old girl?
I mean, they fuck the same chick all the time.
You would think. Well, this is what Joanne says, the young 16-year-old girl. She says, quote, well, Paul did know because he was having relationships with young girls all over the place. So, he was aware of the whole thing. She said, well, I wouldn't name names, but, he had relationships going with schoolgirls.
Oh, my God.
That's what she says. Wow.
James, they're both into this, and one's idea was we could work at high schools,
and then we could move one into my house.
Great idea. I'll get a job at another high school.
Yeah,
and
this is great.
See who gets the one first.
It's awesome. Young girls.
Gross.
Where are all the young girls? At school. That's where. That's a monster.
When my wife was the hottest was when she was 16.
That's when he met her. Think about that, though.
That's what's happening.
To actually, wow. I suppose someone's gross, and they're like, I really want to bang 16-year-old girls. Whatever their thought process is. To actually go to the point of, like, I'm going to go to teacher's college.
Yeah.
And go, like, that's wild.
For the expressed fucking idea and interest.
Fucking wild.
Wow.
I mean, I doubt that I just want to shape the minds of the youth, and then they showed up and went, wow, 16-year-old girls are hot. I don't think I think they knew what they were after in my brain. I don't know.
This is somehow even darker, Mortimer and what's his fuck?
Randolph and Mortimer. This is way darker.
These are the darkest Randolph and Mortimer ever.
Yeah. So She was asked whether Paul's wife, Marilyn, knew that he was having affairs, as Lynette apparently does. And Joanne said, quote, "I don't think so. I don't know. I don't really know because it was certainly happening right under her nose, whether she just turned a blind eye to it." So who knows, basically. She should have known is what she's saying.
Or maybe she was just saying, there's no way I'm married to a pedophile.
Yeah, like that can't be true.
No way.
He's such a nice, charming guy.
Yeah.
Did you see the ads?
He's handsome.
He was groping that chick from the back and she loved it.
He fights over grown women.
She loved it.
Not children.
Not children. So 1981 here, according to Joanne, this is what day in 1981, Chris drove Joanne to a hotel in Sydney. She waited in the car in her school uniform as he was taking her to school,
right?
Because she is in school. In the car, and then he went upstairs in the hotel. She says, Joanne says, quote, "He wasn't there for long. When he came back, he told me, quote, I wanted to get a hitman to kill Lynn, but I couldn't do it because innocent people would be killed."
What?
That's what he tells her.
What are you, hiring a guy with bombs?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or just
what
like
was
a
he
dude
do?
to drive by with a fucking M16?
Like a scene in Scarface?
Right.
You're going to go behind him with a remote and go, "His kid's in the car. I can't do it." Like, no, is that what's happening?
Or are you just going to light up the whole neighborhood?
Yeah. What? It's like a drone strike? He's going to be at a wedding, but we can't take out the whole wedding. There's going to be 300 people there. It's worth it. What are you, fucking...
Innocent people will die. So I changed my mind.
Apparently so. So December of 1981, Chris and Joanne they're having an affair, and it's pretty kind of out in the open at this point. And they run away together.
Oh, boy.
So the legalities of running away with a 16-year-old student of yours is, I mean, that happens now, and it's all over the news.
It's an Amber Alert.
It's an Amber Alert.
Crazy.
And everybody looking, oh my God, what's going on? And they find them in like some
sleazy hotel in a...
Usually not even that. They find them on like some hiking trail because they'll have like the, bunk things, and they're like, there's like grass growing in their hair and shit. They're like... at the total end of their ropes, where they did this because they have this lust for each other. And then you see them, then you're like, bet they haven't fucked since they left.
How'd it work out?
They have.
How'd it go?
Neither of you were like, you're both gross. Neither of you had a shower in 2 weeks.
Both of you stink.
Yeah. You're an adult, fuck adults,
right.
And you're young, so it's not your fault. There you go.
Isn't it fascinating how when you get dirty, the area that stinks the most is the one that you coveted?
That's it. That's all you want. That nut sack there, it's the grossest.
The area you wanted to put in your mouth doesn't taste the same, does it? After 2 days in the woods.
Goes for both of you. Sometimes it's a week in the woods.
Yeah.
They find them all like half dehydrated and dying.
Elizabeth Smart was like 8 months or whatever.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
It's
just up there just sponge bathing in a creek.
It's so weird.
Oh, boy.
So
yuck.
It's fucked. That's a crazy
put that in
story.
your face? Jesus.
That's what people are going to do. But they don't, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And either way, they're children, so they shouldn't at all.
Thank
this
God.
is disgusting.
Yeah, right.
So they run away together to Queensland, okay? And then apparently Joanne changes her mind about running away, and they go back to Sydney, which she's the mature one. That tells you a lot right there.
Right.
The 16-year-old. So at this point, obviously, when they come back after running away together, he can't just resume life.
Yeah, you can't just pop back into the house and be like, all right, we changed our mind.
All right, we're back. She's going to go back in her room and we're going to whatever. So at that point, Joanne's got to be gone from the house right now, which is pretty obvious. So where does she has nowhere to go, but she does have one place to go, Paul's house.
Oh my God.
Just goes to Paul's house and stays with Paul and Marilyn for a while. So this is in December, probably over Christmas and that sort of shit, 1981. And they live there. This is on the same street, so it's right down the street.
Right.
They have 3 young daughters and everything like that. They could use a babysitter too. So, Jesus Christ, January 8th, 1982, Chris and Lynette go to marriage counseling, which if there's ever a couple that would need marriage counseling if they wanted to stay together, I feel like this one is
it not
high on the list. I think we're beyond it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there was...
We're too late.
I don't know why you'd want to, but
right.
If there's any hope of it
at this point in a marriage counseling, what Lynette wants in that counseling is for the counselor just to look at him and tell him you're the fucking problem, but she can't do that because that's not what marriage counselors do.
No.
We're trying to work through our differences.
Though.
They should,
Right.
They should take some
What
time.
are we talking about here? You know?
Yeah.
Honestly, we're going to go. We're going to go to you and you're going to listen to both of us?
And you're going to go,
Great.
you guys should compromise. Compromise what? He fucks kids.
Yeah, he fucks kids. There's no compromise.
Can you just tell him?
A marriage counselor would have to find some middle ground of like, well, I mean, if we could get the age up to, say, the 19 or 20 range, would you be open to a relation? No, that's not how it works. No, it's not. So, yeah.
We're talking about marriage.
And there's no other way to do it, too, because otherwise nobody would ever go to counseling if when you showed up, it was like they'd hear both sides and go, you're wrong. Change. $150. And then the other person goes, yes, I fucking told you. I told you were the asshole. I fucking told you the whole time.
That's really a pretty solid wager. You're wagering $150 that somebody's going to take your side.
That's what I mean.
Bet you $150 she likes my story.
Boom. And we're both, it's like an agreement. We'll both abide by her judgment. Great. And then you shake hands.
Nobody'd ever go.
And nobody would go. Especially the person who knows they're wrong, because everybody knows who's wrong.
Absolutely.
You know when you're wrong. So they go there. Later on that night, so they go to counseling, they get home, and later on Lynette talks to her mother on the phone, and Lynette doesn't really drink that much. She's not a drinker at all, but her mom says she's fucking sounds hammered on the phone.
She's plowed.
She says she sounds, quote, sozzled.
Australia, you got good words.
Which, that's a great word for drunk.
Hell yeah.
Sozzled, I think. That's nice. With two Z's and everything.
That is incredible.
That's going to be a good one. So, yeah, that's how that goes. And then the night is quiet. January 9th, 1982, Lynette is supposed to meet her mother and Chris and the children at the Northbridge Baths. Okay, she made plans to meet them all there, and her husband works. Chris is like kind of a lifeguard there, a little bit, kind of a whatever. So he says he dropped his wife off at Mona Vale bus stop at about 7 a.m. to go there, and she never showed up at the baths. Okay, instead he said he got a phone call at the baths, in which he said was from his wife, who told him that she was needing a break from him and needed to be on her own for a minute. Mm-hmm. So he drops her off. We'll meet you there. Your mom's coming. All the kids.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. And then instead of showing up, she calls and says, as a matter of fact, I need some time to myself.
Hang out with my mom.
Enjoy.
Plausible.
Sounds whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. At the time, Joanne was out of town with family and friends at Southwest Rocks on mid-north coast when she says she got a call from Chris that day or the day after that, and we'll talk about this. But so Lynette, doesn't show up, says she needs some time to herself, and then just doesn't come home that night.
Yeah.
And then doesn't come home the next night.
Oh.
Doesn't call her mom. Doesn't do anything. She must really need some time to herself, because she just completely disappeared.
Women usually have had enough of a pedophile and leave their children with him.
They leave. They say, I'm going to leave both my little girls with him. And and he's hanging out with my mom. That should be fine.
Mom will keep an eye on him.
Yeah, like I'm going to leave the person who I think is a monster with all the important people in my life.
The most important people.
The most vulnerable and important people. I feel like that'll be the best way to do it. And I'll run away.
I'll be back.
I don't feel like that. So Chris, he said he was worried, but they said he seemed more relaxed than he seemed pretty laid back about the whole thing. He doesn't file a missing persons report at all. He says that's because she said she was not missing. Yeah. She said she was going off. And then a few days later, when his family starts asking, where the hell's Lynette? Did she ever come back? He tells them the story. And he goes, as a matter of fact, she ran off to join a religious sect.
Oh?
She ran off to join a cult.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Southern Baptist.
A Southern Baptist. She's going to go be a Pentecostal down there. That would be a cult in Australia.
New South Wales Baptist.
That's how it is. Yeah, that's Southern. So nobody knew where she said, I don't know where they're based, this group. She said she's really into the teachings or whatever the fuck, and she's going off. I don't know what name they went by, but he said she went off to join these religious people. She's been super into it lately.
Okay.
I don't know. So the family's surprised at that. She's a very stable, very kind of, goes by the book kind of woman with two kids and building
very
a life
reliable.
and family. Very reliable. And all of a sudden now she's running off to join the, Jim Jones here out of nowhere, which is
she
very,
found
very,
Nexium.
Yeah, finding it now. So January 10th or 11th, People a couple days later, first there's sympathy because it's like, oh, he got left with these 2 daughters. Right. That's what people start going, oh no, he's got these 2 infant daughters, and he's got to work every day, and he's got to look after these babies, and his wife just left him.
Single father.
Yeah, that's right. So he ended up getting a babysitter for the one day, but apparently the kids didn't like her, or there was a problem with the babysitter. So what he ended up doing was saying, well, I'll just move Joanne back in.
Well, I mean,
it's
the person that objected to it's not
that's
here.
The thing.
What
so
are we gonna do?
And she's been gone for about 3 days now,
right.
Literally. So I'm going to put her back in there. So she does. She moves back in 3 days after Lynette is gone.
Okay.
Joanne moves back in. Which is interesting. She said that Chris told her, quote, Lynn's gone. She's not coming back. I need you now. Come and live with me and the girls at Bayview. That's what he said to her. So she was like, well, I mean, if she left him,
what am I going to do?
Problem solved, I guess, even though bigger problem, I'm still 16.
Yeah.
I'm still a child, and this is still very illegal and creepy.
But the good news is her tits can at least be out now.
That's what he's
with zero
excited
objections.
about. Yeah, he's like, I'm going to get some young tit in this fucking pool. She said that that the next day, after they talked, Chris arrived with a car and to pick her up, and she moved back into the house and all that sort of shit. And she, moved in as kind of like his open girlfriend and took care of the kids at that point. That was her job. And he just tried to be like, okay, you're Lynn now. I'll be at work. See you later. Bye.
Such a quick transition.
Really fucking weird. Joanne even wore Lynette's clothes.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't do that.
Wore her clothes. He was like, yeah, you could just wear her clothes. She just left him, so she's not coming back, so you might as well just wear them. Which is, I would be like, no, not wearing your wife's clothes.
Panties in the top
That's
drawer.
cool. Yeah, we're fucking only the panties. I will wear those, but nothing else, obviously. As well as, they didn't even get like a new bed. She just
climbed into that side.
Climbed on her side of the bed, which is creepy as fuck. She said that the situation was, quote, very strange for everyone, which, imagine the kids. That's the weirdest ones of all.
Smidge awkward.
That is friggin' weird, man. So one of the babysitters, because now they start getting another babysitter in because she's the mom now. Right. So Bev McNally, she said that when she had seen them, she didn't know. She said she was unclear on how aware Lynette was that Joanne and Chris were together. Okay. Seemed like she suspected it, but she doesn't know if it was like an open thing or not. Okay. So they were the only people she was the only person kind of in the household that wasn't his twin brother.
Right.
So, but the affair wasn't a secret for anybody else, though. Like, everybody at school knew about it. He doesn't get fired. He doesn't get, they don't even talk to him. Nothing.
Keeps his job.
He's working this whole time. Yeah. While he's got a student in his house.
Business as usual.
Business as usual. February 18th, 1982, Chris reports his wife missing.
Now he does.
6 weeks later.
Wow.
6 weeks it took him to report his wife missing. I don't even know what.
Now she's missing.
She's missing. I don't know. Well, I mean, she went to join a religious sect, but still haven't heard from her. So, who knows? Later on in the year, he taught at Cromer all the way through the end of 1982. This is like a year and a half, almost 2 years after he basically just fucking plucked a student out of there.
That is wild.
How weird is that, dude?
Ew.
That's gross. So he ends up going to Beacon Hill High School in late 1982. So he moves on to another high school. As pedophiles move from place to place, they like to do that. Now, 1983 comes around, and Chris, reeling from his wife's abandonment, joining this, taking this religious cult is so much more important than him and her whole family. This poor wounded man files for divorce from Lynette.
What?
Files for fucking divorce from her.
Oh my.
Okay, now it's going to take a few years because basically, I think it takes like however many years for someone to be declared missing or dead or some shit, and then you can.
Yeah, but they can't file a divorce decree and finalize it until you got that signature.
Exactly.
Of the other person.
So he's got to put it in now, though. So then the divorce will be up when she's declared never coming back.
Okay.
Or if they find her, who knows? Yeah. So he's still with Joanne this whole time. So much so, I guess you can get divorced in Australia from a missing person. Apparently, you can say your wife abandoned you or your husband abandoned you and you want a divorce and you can't find them. And apparently, like, here you'd have to, like, serve them papers and it'd take you 3 years.
It'd be a whole thing.
Whole thing. There, by January 1984, he's already divorced from Lynette, which is wild. And so much so divorced is he that on January 15th, 1984, Chris and Joanne get married.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. She's a good 18 now. She's ready, I guess, right? What
So
the
gross.
fuck is going on, man?
This is horrible.
They got married at their home, at the big house there, their dream house.
Lynette's house.
It's Lynette's house. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Horrible.
Yeah, Paul and Marilyn are the witnesses. Obviously, his twin and his wife are the two witnesses. You want to hear the creepiest shit?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, Chris gave Joanne one of his wife's rings to wear for the ceremony.
That is horrible.
His missing wife's fucking ring is what he put on this woman's finger. This girl's finger for a wedding ceremony.
Like Beetlejuice. She meant nothing to me.
Yeah. I wonder if it was her dress. I'm not even fucking around.
Did
She's
he pull
wearing
it off her
clothes.
finger?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What the hell is going on? I guess she left it behind in her jewelry box. So it's one of Lynette's rings. Here you go.
This'll do.
You're wearing her underwear, so what's the
May as
difference?
well, yeah.
So this is weird as shit. So, they get married. Wow.
I hate that.
He's 35. She's 19, which is fine if they didn't meet when she was 16. You know,
which is legal.
It's not fine, but it's legal.
Oh, that ain't fine.
No, it's far from fine. But I mean, nobody is.
Nobody's getting arrested.
The police aren't getting involved. Is what I'm getting at.
They could give a fuck.
We can roll our eyes, but the cops aren't coming. That's all I mean.
The cops won't arrest you, but they will say, "Get your shit together, sir."
I'll judge you.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Like a motherfucker.
You're being judged, but I can't take legal action. So Lynn is still missing this whole time, and Paul, they ask him, and he says he is positive that his brother has nothing to do with Lynn's disappearance. Are you kidding me? Chris?
Yeah.
Cranky Chris?
Right.
No. Quote, he said, quote, "It wouldn't have happened. I know. I mean, he's my twin brother. I know he wouldn't have. I don't know. Whatever. He wouldn't have played any hand in Lynn's disappearance." That's his big dismissal of it. They considered how Chris would explain Joanne living with him if they asked, like, he said Lynn took off and he expects her to come back at some point. How is he going to explain Joanne living there, being married to him then? Yeah. If that happens,
how's that gonna
basically.
work?
And they said, quote, he said, quote, "I think we asked ourselves the same question all at the time by memory. I think Marilyn and I probably said the same thing. I don't know. I don't know how they were going to sort it all out." Yeah. So he's like, who cares?
I don't know. We answered that question a long time ago together. Right now, I can't remember what our answer was.
Exactly. I'm not sure. I'll ask Chris and maybe we'll work it out again. So they're going to move all together, but before that, both brothers cash in their insurance policies they had on their own lives. They both had life insurance policies they'd been paying into, so they cashed out whatever equity they had in those. Mm-hmm. And they said that they wouldn't need as much money or anything as they did in Sydney to where they were moving. It's cheaper. Okay. So a detective asked Paul, would you agree that you were, even allowing for the fact that you were twins, sort of even closer than maybe twins would expect to be? And he said, twins are close. Yeah, it's hard to understand if you're not a twin, but twins are close. And they said, allowing for that closeness, has Chris ever indicated anything untoward may have happened? Mm-hmm. Paul said, none whatsoever.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So he's close enough to this, but not that.
Not that. Marilyn, Paul's wife, also was interviewed, and she said, quote, "We were fairly intensely involved in Chris and Lynn's lives because my husband and his twin are extremely close. I wanted Lynn to fight for Chris and her marriage and the children, and she didn't. She seemed to be meek when I wanted her to be strong. I would have fought in a way. I did fight for my marriage because my husband was a twin, and whatever Chris was doing, my husband may have been doing too. And so I fought for my husband, and I wish Lynn had." Yeah. So let's unpack that, what she just fucking said. We cannot breeze over the fact that she just said, my husband was fucking teenagers also.
Right. Because he does it, so obviously he does it.
But rather than Lynn running away, I fought for my husband and said, "Oh, no, no 16-year-old's going to steal you from me. You're all mine. Hang out with our daughters." Great. Just so we all are clear.
And I know that is just something that he does because that guy looks just like him and does it too.
So they're both the same. So that is so weird. She says, when Chris was doing his university, Paul and I would sit up half the night typing his assignments up. I believe that my husband is the dominant personality, meaning Paul, has more common sense, and I believe my husband loves his brother and would protect him in any way that he had to. But I don't believe that Chris would do anything to harm his wife, Lynn. I don't believe that my husband could hide that from me. They asked her directly if she believed her husband would lie to her or police about Chris's involvement, and she said, quote, I don't believe that he would do anything to not assist you in your job, talking to the police, but I'm telling you that his twin is probably the most important person in the world to him after his wife and family. And I would say probably you can switch that around.
Yeah.
If I'm just going by obviousness here. Now, Lynn's family, they are not accepting this shit at all. They're like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
They're just going, well, who knows? She joined a religious sect. They're like, no, that's not Lynn at all. They said, quote, she was really excited about Chanel starting school. She had a new uniform. She was really excited about that, and she had already invited people to Mom's birthday, a surprise party that was at the beginning of February.
Yeah.
So they're saying she wasn't just going to disappear.
She had plans.
She had plans, number one. It was her mother's birthday. She's planning a surprise party, and if you're joining a religious sect and you have 2 fucking kids and a husband banging a teenager and you're planning a party, you don't have time to join a cult.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Right.
You don't have time to get that swallowed up in any kind of dogma at that point, right? I'm thinking.
It's a bit much.
It's a lot. So
I'm too busy for this.
Too busy. That was her sister that said that. 1985, though, the Dawson brothers and their families, both Chris, Paul, and everybody, the kids, whole troop here, they moved to Queensland in 1985.
Okay.
So altogether, Chris Dawson worked at Kebra State Park High School at first, and then moved to Kumbaba State High School to work with his brother Paul, because that's where his brother Paul works, so they have to work at the same place.
You're not going to believe the ass on this girl. If you saw her, that's the only way
It's
you'd
wild.
believe me.
You got to get over
her
it.
hired.
Tell you what, I'll get you in.
I'll talk to the
Bring your
principal.
resume.
Yeah.
So it's at this point.
Don't worry about it. I've got the same one. I'll just give him mine.
Yeah, you got this. Don't worry about it. The late 80s here, or mid to late 80s here, Paul and Joanne have a daughter together.
Oh, my God.
The third daughter. Like I said, he has 3 daughters. They have a daughter named Kristen together.
No problem with that conception.
Nope, that one
took right away.
Took right through there. Yeah, obviously, because it's a disaster.
Yeah.
Well, not that the kid's a disaster, but his life is a disaster.
Situation is a disaster.
The worse your life is, the more fertile you are. Right. That's how it works. So during the...
it's so true.
It's just a fact.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the same person. You could be doing great. If your life starts to fall apart, you will be so much more fertile. It's
you never hear of people, 2 people making minimum wage going, we just can't get pregnant.
No, it never happens. I'm sure someone's going to go, I make minimum wage.
Right. I've been trying.
We're insensitive.
But it's very...
We get it. We're insensitive. But in general,
it's always 2 pretty pretty wealthy people that are doing fine.
I have experience twice with this. Trust me.
I have a problem and I can't get pregnant.
Yeah,
but it's always the shitbags that are horrible people that are just exploding with kids.
Yes. When I had nothing going for myself and nothing when I had my 2 kids, it was the same way. Couldn't keep fucking fertile as shit.
I got a text message from 2 different people in 5 minutes. One was from my bank telling me that my checking account was $50 from being overdrawn, and then the other one was I'm pregnant,
which is perfect. I
was like, yes, this is exactly how life goes.
It is. That's what I just explained. I just explained science, and I believe. That's called backing it up with facts. It's just
that is not anecdotal.
Hypothesis to theory is what it just did right there. It just went right up the other way around. Whichever one is better. I'm not a scientist. I didn't graduate high school. So they end up during all of this. Joanne says that he treated Chanel and Sharon like princesses and rejected Kristen as I don't know, just not good enough for him already. So by the late 80s, let's see, how does Chris treat this young lady? Does he treat her well? Let's talk about that. So she called him, this is Joanne, called him possessive, violent, and unwilling to let her even go out the front door without his permission, or wearing the she also had to wear the clothes he chose, and was forbidden by him to make friends with anyone.
She knows violent.
That's what she said.
She grew up in a violent household.
Yeah.
She's calling him violent.
She's calling him violent.
That's
why she was attracted to him, because that's the problem, and that's why he was attracted to her, because he thought she was weak and would take it, and
that's the problem.
Not weak, but you know what I'm saying, would take it, and that's predators have sixth sense, and prey has a sixth sense also that somehow seeks out that.
Yeah.
So it's
certainly groomable.
Yep, that's what I think. That's how he was looking at it. So also, once they moved to Queensland and all of that, she said, quote, he was even more possessive of me and regretted Kristen. He wanted me to himself. He just wanted her out of the way. I did as I was told. We had a 6-foot fence. I didn't leave the compound.
Wow.
So that's what she said. He was always possessive, but once our daughter was born, I think he felt a rivalry there with her.
Yeah, because she's taking up her time.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Rather than him because he got her to concentrate all on him.
Yeah.
God forbid. That was the problem with Lynn. I'm sure she was interested in the kids.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what about me?
And she's got 2 of them.
Yeah, narcissist this guy is,
Wow.
it sounds like, very much. She says he didn't like sharing me. He wanted me to stay in the confines of the property and not go and see people. So I didn't have any associations until our daughter was 2, when I took her to playgroup and I found out how other women had marriages.
Yeah.
Different, basically.
Where the guy cares and stuff.
And doesn't tell her what to wear and where to go and make her wear his fucking missing wife's ring.
Wowza.
She said, quote, I thought ours was just normal in that he made all the decisions and I followed them, his orders.
Okay.
No. Did you see a soap opera or something? Do you have a television in this house?
There's literally 0 in your life that is quote unquote normal.
Nothing about this is normal. Not a goddamn thing is fucking
your
normal
age
here.
starting. And going forward.
Starting with 10th grade, starting with your sophomore year,
starting
and go
with
forward.
How you met,
yeah.
And then to present day.
Let's just go to now. Nothing is normal. Jesus. She said he chose what I wore. If I was going somewhere, he would have to approve it. He was violent. There were some times when I locked myself in one of the bedrooms and he would try to break the door down.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's not great when you get those. I hate people like that.
Yeah.
Asked if Chris had ever asked her to do anything, quote, out of the normal sexually, she says, quote, well, yeah, do this and you can have this. Oh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if I wanted a pair of shoes, well, you have to pay for it type of thing.
Yeah.
So
shoes are anal.
Gross.
Yeah. It's
just
bad stuff.
Do gross shit. He's a bad guy.
He is.
It doesn't sound like a good
guy.
And
he's making her earn things with sexual favors. That's awful.
That's pretty gross. She's been since she was 16. This is disgusting.
Oh, she's been through so much.
I can't express. This guy is like fucking Buck Zumhoff and OJ mixed into one guy, which those are the 2 worst, and we found a guy who's both. This is
little by little making her life awful.
Awful. So 1990 comes around and Chris and Joanne split up.
Yeah.
Actually, she leaves him.
Okay.
And she moves back to Sydney where her family and friends are there. Yeah. She moves back to Sydney. When she does so, she does one thing. She calls the police and she urges the police to search the garden in their old house.
Oh my God.
You should really search over there. I just think I would urge you to search there. If you're looking for Lynn, maybe possibly check the garden.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what she said. She told police that she left Chris because she was frightened and desperately unhappy living with him.
Yeah.
She said, then when I realized that there was something very strange about our relationship and he was getting more violent and he would be violent right in front of our daughter. So that's awful monster behavior.
But the garden, like Britain, like England, it's just the backyard.
The backyard,
right?
yeah, back in the back garden.
Not like where they grow tomatoes and shit.
Only under the rose bushes.
Right.
Yeah.
Only look under the eggplants.
Yeah,
that's where she is.
I think the back garden.
She hated eggplants and he knew it.
Oh, she knew it. Now she's got all eggplants.
Now she grows them.
Now she is an eggplant person in the ground with eggplants coming from her chest. He said, quote, he would send the other 2 away, the first 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And there was all sorts of control and games he was playing. He used to start singing to me too, like he did with his former wife. And there was many times I felt physically threatened. I feared for my life at that point, and I made a decision to leave because I was scared and desperately unhappy. Which, She also said that Chris was a narcissist, which, hey, there you go. I diagnosed him from here, and I didn't even know.
Dr. James.
Dr. James, and she was married to him. He's a narcissist, and the only other person he really cared about was his twin.
Yep.
That sounds
because
exact.
That's him too.
Because it's him.
Yeah.
How do you look at me? I'm great.
It's the only people I like. Me,
you
and
handsome
the other
bastard.
Yeah.
That's him all the time. Me and me. Look at this. There's two of me.
Aren't we amazing?
Which for a narcissist, being a twin has to be like your birthday every day.
The
it's
greatest
Christmas
thing on
every day.
Yeah.
Narcissist, and there's two of me to love.
That's why he's hanging out with him so much. Of course, because it's me.
It's me. Isn't that crazy?
What the fuck?
I get more of me.
That's horrible.
That's some crazy psychology there. We could be totally wrong, but that's what it feels
We are not.
like. I don't think
we
we're
are
wrong
nailing
here.
this right now.
He's probably about right.
That's why he loves fucking with him, because he gets to watch himself fuck.
Yeah. It's like a mirror.
Oh my God, this is so gross.
It's how creepy and weird and messed up as this guy's mind is.
I'm so sick.
She said, quote, he was quite possessive, pretty antisocial, but certainly, he was the most important and no one else really mattered. His brother Paul was, very, very important to him, but, that's not surprising being a twin. Yeah. And they said, well, how did you two get together? She said, at the time I was having problems with my family at home, and I guess I felt like I could go to him with this problem because he seemed to be drawn to me in some way. And so I did, and he took advantage of that and abused me, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, he seemed open to listening to a young woman because that's the vibe that's the bait he was putting out.
Because that's what he likes.
He is fucking gross, man. So she began socializing with Chris and all that sort of shit, and then began hanging out with him at a hotel on Friday nights. So she began, they had an affair.
Right.
And then she became the babysitter because he was just like, oh, yeah, girl from school, looking for a babysitter. You could say, put it up on the bulletin board, and some sophomore signed up there. So they would babysit, and she'd often stay the night at their home when they would come home late and shit. And so, what would happen then? They would have sexual relations in the house while the wife was asleep. And so this is pretty goddamn gross here. So the investigation, they're going to investigate this. Yeah. This is a little late still, but they're still doing it. 1990-ish, early 1990s. They said that upon investigation, they found that, and this is later on, they find this, that there was numerous sexual activities with students. According to a detective who investigated the disappearance of Lynette, quote, these sexual activities included both Christopher and Paul Dawson having sexual intercourse with a female student at the same time.
Jesus fuck. How do you? Oh my God, that's so gross. Boy.
I've never heard this. We've done it.
Yeah.
A crime in sports first.
Twin pedos? What?
How fucking rare. Okay. Now, I don't mean to celebrate this, obviously, because this is the most disgusting thing I've ever fucking heard in my life. But by episode 241, to have a crime in sports first,
Jesus,
it takes a lot. You got to be imaginative.
They're really qualifying it here, though.
Yeah, I mean, we had Buck Zumhoff.
Right.
So to go to top that, you really have to be something. This I've never heard before.
Scum meters in the red.
Identical twin pedophiles double teaming a minor.
Unbelievable. Has that? I'm sure it's happened before in the world.
I've never heard of it.
Right? I've never heard of it.
Never once heard of it. Not even as a creepy, like a snuff film.
No.
This has never happened.
I've never
is the creepiest shit I've ever heard.
Boy.
I don't even know what to say about this.
Is that incest? I mean, granted, you're not touching each other, but is that incest?
It's fucking creepy,
right?
It's creepy.
When twin girls, like, there's those fucking sickos that are like, twins, I want to fuck twins. Like, why? That's incest, isn't it? I mean, granted, even if they're not touching each other.
Yeah, I would never want to be.
I don't want anything to do with that.
No, I would never want to be naked in the same room with twins because I feel like they'd be plotting against me silently anyway. So I wouldn't trust that was going on. I'd feel like a real outsider there, and I wouldn't like it.
The Shining is too real.
It's creepy, dude. I couldn't deal with that shit. So, yeah, you're right, dude. This is just wrong.
That's so gross.
This is, we know it's wrong, but this is the most wrong.
Extra gross.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to really wrong, it's very, very wrong, and over really, it's bad.
If an adult fucking a child is like 10 on the creep meter, this is double that because it's two men that are brothers.
Yeah.
And the same DNA.
Pedo squared.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Oh,
boy.
Wow. So that happened. The detective here said, quote, Joanne Curtis admits that at Christopher Dawson's instigation, she had sexual encounters with Paul Dawson, including both Christopher and Paul Dawson together.
Oh, she did too.
Yeah, this poor girl did too. So I think that was just their game. They did that with everybody. That's why they had young girls to use as playthings. So later in 1990, Chris gets married again.
To who? What?
Right away. To a woman named Sue.
Okay, so these two divorced.
Yeah, they're divorced quickly. Sue is a science teacher.
At this,
he met her because she's a teacher also. And guess what she has? Twins.
No.
She has twins. How fucked is that?
I don't like that at all either.
How weird is that?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
That's why they talked in the first place.
Yeah.
That was the opening thing.
Yeah, I have twins.
Yeah.
Are you guys?
What's
yeah,
it like being an adult with twins?
And then next thing you know,
we fuck each other.
Tell you what, let's have biology class right here. We fuck young girls together. It's pretty cool. Your kids are going to do that.
Wow.
So she's a science teacher, and he's living in that's later on, Yeppoon there. Yeppoon he's living in, which is
that makes sense.
Perfect for him.
He looked at the map and was like, that's where I'm going to go.
I'm going to Poontown. Sue taught science at St. Brendan's Catholic Boys School, and Chris was a teacher at St. Ursula's Girls College.
No.
Girls. Switch, please. Just for, oh my God.
Can you, is there... How? There's no statute of limitations on child molestation?
Is
16 child molestation?
Yep.
Yeah.
There it is. And especially no matter what, you can't fuck your students. That's illegal.
Can't she tell them that and they arrest him?
Well,
I mean, granted, her word against his, but isn't that enough?
They have children. They have a child.
It's too much.
They did like public interviews together.
He should be in jail.
I would say for many things now at this point.
But we know one for sure.
Yeah. One is definitely gross. So they end up getting together. Her twin children took his name. They take his last name of Dawson while they're in school. They're in Yeppoon. This is Yeppoon.
Old Pound Town.
Yep, I'll take some poon. This is a population of about 10,000 people here, and nobody knew Chris's story here.
What?
This is the early 90s. There's no internet.
Yeah.
So nobody knew Chris. Just said, hey, I'm Chris. That's it. I played for rugby. And they went, oh, wow, that's great. Cool. Look at you.
Right.
They didn't know his wife disappeared, and he just got divorced from the 16-year-old that him and his brother fucking Eiffel Towered in the science lab. None of that shit. They don't know any of this stuff. This is all just whatever. So... they live kind of happily here. 1999 comes along.
Oh, my God, it's so long.
Oh, it's so long, man. It's been a long time. And Paul's wife and Chris's sister-in-law, Marilyn, is interviewed by the police in 1999 again because they have some different leads. And she recalled that Chris and Joanne, after they returned from Queensland on Christmas Day, remember they ran away.
Right.
They came back. She said they stayed at her house for a while until Joanne ended up staying behind and he moved back home and they went to marriage counseling. But he was home for like a week. She believed that at that point, again, she reiterated that Lynn did not fight for her marriage. And she stated that she does not believe that Chris has anything to do with her disappearance, and Lynn just didn't fight for her marriage and wasn't interested in it and took off.
Okay.
So that's what she says. Paul was also interviewed by detectives about what he knew, and she said, quote, about the marriage, he said, quote, I think they were both pretty dissatisfied with certain aspects of their marriage. They both probably had legitimate beefs. Chris is my twin brother, so obviously he's close to me, and I think they were sorting themselves out.
How many times do they have to qualify that they're twins?
Listen, he's my twin brother.
Oh, we know.
And Chris will say that she spent money like crazy, and that was what brought their marriage problems on, and blah, blah, blah. That's his story.
Yeah.
Paul told police what Chris told him, that Lynn had called him after her disappearance and that she had been sighted on the Central Coast and she may have run off with a religious group. That's what all he had said. He agreed that Lynn Dawson was a good mother, but claimed that she was not overly affectionate. And Paul denies having sex with Joanne Curtis, like she said that happened as well. So the detective said, in relation to Joanne Curtis, have you ever had a relationship with Joanne Curtis? And Paul said, no. He said, no physical relationship. And he said, no. It's one for me and one for my twin.
Yeah.
No relationship whatsoever. No. No.
Okay.
All right. He did, however, admit to having a relationship for some months with a former student that he taught at Forest High.
Gross. Lock him up then.
Let's lock him up. Let's take him in.
Put him in jail.
Paul said he had sex with this teenager, quote, in various places, including once at his home.
Oh, boy.
But he denied Chris ever had sex with the same young woman. Okay. He said that we didn't.
So it was just you that's a pedophile. So we just lock you up?
So, he married his you know, whatever the fuck you want to call it, his victim. So
concubine.
Yeah, we'll go with victim, I think, here.
That's probably the word.
He married his victim. What'd you do with yours? Yeah. Oh, he didn't. Okay.
Oh, you just victimized?
That's all. Then
Okay.
Dumped her off. Good deal. Because your wife fought for her marriage.
Right.
Excellent.
Because he had a fighter at the house.
Perfect. That's great. You should congratulate Marilyn. He was sure his brother had nothing to do with the wife's disappearance. So 1999 comes and goes.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. 2000 comes along, and police dig at their former home in Bayview.
Yeah.
There's a specific area where they want to dig, where they say that there's been they think the ground have been disturbed and blah, 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 and they want to dig in this area.
20 fucking years ago.
It's like 18, 19 years at this point. So they dig up this. They find no evidence of a body, no anything like that. What they do find buried under there, this is it, is a pink cardigan.
Yeah.
A sweater.
Okay.
Pink cardigan sweater that belonged to Lynette. But
no Lynette.
So that they had the pool put in and the whole yard redone. So that could have been left outside. The wind could have blown it here while they re-landscaped. There's no way to say that's definitive evidence of, well, must have killed her.
Right.
There's no arm attached to it. That would be bad.
Just a sweater.
It's just a sweater. Yeah. But so that's something suspicious. And in the paper, just a pink cardigan. That sounds very, you know,
it's inflammatory
in the media, but it doesn't really do anything. So 2001, there's a full inquest here. 2 coroners find that Lynette Dawson was murdered by a, quote, known person. So they judge her to be dead. They judge her that she was not found anywhere, that she's probably officially dead, and that she was probably murdered if she's dead, and she was probably murdered by a known person based on their investigation. And they said that person that they thought was Chris Dawson.
Yeah.
So they thought it was her husband. Their kids, by the way, were even talked to now, because now they're adults.
They're adults.
And they have very little memory of any of this, but like 60 Minutes talks to them, and they ask them, was your father a monster and all that? And the one kid, Chanel, just said that she remembers. She doesn't, she feels very confused by the whole thing. She felt abandoned by her mother, and she said that her father was fun and remembered her childhood fondly. She said that he was a loving father and struggled to be seen as the man that others made him out to be. She said she just struggled to see it. She couldn't see it. Yeah. It's like, I don't see what they're talking about. The younger one, Sharon, she said, quote, she said that it's a witch hunt for my dad.
Oh.
My dad's getting hounded because there's all these people that have got it for him, rather than focusing on perhaps that there could be someone else.
I hope she's thought it over a little more.
Yeah, that sounds like OJ's going to search for the real killers. I mean, I feel bad for it. It's her father. In her mind, mom abandoned us, and all we've ever had is my dad.
Right.
So now you're going to
grow up with what she grew up with. So it's hard to.
What are you going to say?
Blame her,
yeah.
but
that's it. So 2001 comes and goes. Nothing ends up coming of this. 2003, there's another little hearing over this, and 2 separate coroners again find that Lynette was murdered by Chris Dawson. So now this is a big one here. There's a big court thing, and the one coroner, Carl Milanovich, recommended a known person be charged with Dawson's murder. That's Lynette Dawson and her family. This whole thing here. They give testimony. Joanne gives a lot of testimony here, and by the way, Joanne is now being not taken in like, living with them, but taken in emotionally and whatever by a bunch of Lynette's family. Really? Aunts, uncles, cousins, they're all hugging her and crying at the hearing. I mean, she's a victim. She was a fucking kid.
Right.
The hell does she know? She's a kid from a messed up background.
She doesn't understand.
No. They had heard her evidence about how Chris was possessive and violent, unwilling to let her go out the front door with the clothes and all that sort of shit. So they said, quote, Lynette's life was sacrificed, but he gave Joanne a dog life. This is one of her relatives. She said, I bear no malice toward her. So yeah, she had it bad, is what they're saying. You see, we didn't realize that Joanne had nowhere else to go. is why she went there to begin with. At the beginning, we were in such a state of shock, we couldn't anticipate that Lynette wasn't coming back. For years, our minds were in turmoil, but my mother believed Chris. He was part of our family. And, in this inquest, both Paul and Marilyn refused to appear for questioning. They don't come here. I don't know if you can't subpoena these people or what. They do have the other brother, Peter, the older brother. He's acting as Chris's attorney through this whole thing.
What?
So he's got his twin and then his older brother representing him here. 2001 and 2003, both inquests. In 2014, following all of this going on here, Peter says that, Peter's mother-in-law, his wife's mother,
new wife.
Peter's had been married to the same woman forever.
Oh, Marilyn's wife.
No, that's Paul. Peter is the older brother, the attorney.
So you got a Peter and a Paul.
Peter, the attorney, his wife's mother,
got it,
ran away and moved to New Zealand, abandoned the family, wasn't around for like 10 years before she finally told everybody that she was alive and all this
stuff. So he knows how this goes.
So he's going, it happens. It happened in my family. I don't know what the hell here. I don't know why we have to say she's dead. Who knows if she's dead and blah, blah, blah. That's an interesting way to put it. In the closing submissions, the prosecution side said that returned to the allegations that Paul Dawson and Chris Dawson had sex with students. He said, quote, there is the allegation that he and Chris had sex with another female student at the same time, which is flatly denied in his record interview. Paul also did, but she says it had happened. Paul also denies that his relationship occurred at the time the girl was still in school, and yet her statement describes incidents which could have only happened during her school years.
Gross.
Like having sex at school.
All right.
Things like that, how that works. So they're represented, like we said, by the brother. The investigating officers also alluded to the involvement of Paul Dawson in the disappearance of Lynette. And my friend has suggested some sinister connection between them, is what Peter's saying. I suggest, with respect, that all that's been demonstrated here is a very strong sibling bond, not a conspiracy to be pedophiles and kill women.
Oh my God!
So
we just fuck kids together. That's all.
So at this point, there's a $200,000 reward for anyone who has information. At that point, 2003. Anyway, what's Chris up to during all this?
I hope arrested for pedophilia.
Well, actually, he has been through all the 2003 because he's very busy with this. He's been put on light duties and removed from contact with pupils in his teaching job at St. Ursula's College, a private girls' school. Damn it. In Yeppoon, Queensland.
Yes, Poon.
Not charged at all with anything. He's like, we're going to put them aside with the kids. Guess what? That's temporary, because then he's right back into teaching once this all dies down.
How do you not fire the man?
I have no idea. He's not charged. He goes back to teaching gym. Imagine this asshole sitting in the class with his fucking whistle around his neck in the gym, waiting for the girls to file out of the locker room, being like, I'm going to pick me one of these out. Just standing there, fucking expecting them to burst through the door anytime out of the locker room. But instead, who ends up bursting out instead? It's the CEO and chairman of the WWE. It's Vince McMahon. He bursts out of the locker room and he says, how is it you've come to arrive here? Look at you. Oh, you're a handsome, beautiful bastard. Look at it. Oh, take your shirt off for me, then. Let's take a look at those. I don't know. I can't see you in the ring, but I think you'd be a good manager. Maybe on the women's side.
Yeah.
Maybe like the junior division. If I have I like it a lot. I'm just telling you that right now. I like your style.
Ew.
I really do. I enjoy your style. You and your brother. I feel like if we combine you, the fact that you're identical. If we put some overalls on you, I'm just saying,
James.
You're going to be the Dawson boys, and all the young girls will run for the hills. They're coming for your daughters. That's what it's going to be. The pedo math teachers. You're going to get booed from everywhere. It's going to be wonderful.
Their finishing move is the tag team.
Yeah. And then when you're done, you tag team. We'll say it's a young girl. Obviously, she'll have to be of age. Goddamn laws the way they are is fucking goddamn pussies out here making this fucking love. We'll do all of that, and we'll do all, and then when we're done, we'll kill one of your wives. It's going to be the best show ever. And then poof, in a poof of 1099s.
Other people sweat.
An OxyContin. He's gone. An empty steroid vial. He's out of there. And everyone's very surprised. And they're like, who was that?
What a disgusting couple of people.
Right, Vince and he in the same room. Yikes.
It's a scummy conversation.
Oh, man. So the appearance of Joanne Curtis giving evidence here made it a big story because she was the one saying, he's fucking me in school and they fucking Eiffel Towering me with his brother and all that kind of thing. That's a big
yeesh.
That's going to be awfully inflammatory. So the publicity became pretty big on this here, and so much so the couple ends up moving to the Sunshine Coast here, where they have a property on the Gold Coast at Bigelow Waters.
Nice.
Which is a 15-minute drive from who? Paul and Marilyn as well.
Yeah.
We'll move on down there.
Of course.
2006. Okay. There's an episode of the British show, and there's shows of versions in every country, but the Antique Roadshow.
Yeah.
The British version.
Right.
Filmed in Padstow, Cornwall.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this isn't worth shit, but
thank
you for bringing it.
Shit. It's not even old.
Still in its packaging. It says copyright 2016.
There's a fucking price tag on it. So
this is worth $16.99. Thank you for bringing it.
It's a sticker, mate. Didn't have those. So
what is this, a passive Paul garbage pail? It isn't worth anything.
It's already been torn off. It's passive Paul's the worst. So he claims, Chris does, that in the background of the episode, while someone was getting something appraised,
he saw her.
He saw Lynette. There she is.
Unbelievable.
That's where she is, in the background.
She's at the road show.
At the road show. It's a 2006 episode that he's claimed he didn't see till 2010. And he noticed it. He's like, son of a bitch. God damn it. He says she was one of the bystanders watching an appraisal.
Okay. He's just a big fan of the road show.
That's it. And it's, there she is. 2015, the Unsolved Homicide Unit, which is not a TV show, that is a real thing, established something called Strike Forced Scriven to reinvestigate Lynette's suspected murder.
It's just a scrum of detectives.
Scrum of a scriven.
Detectives.
That's what you call a scrum of detectives, a scriven? Yeah, I believe so. What do you call scrum of detectives? A scriven. Yes.
They're just solving crimes.
Everyone write that down. Now, wow. They're still, now what are the twins up to at this point? Chris and Paul. They live in Queensland, like we said, on the Gold Coast. They spend a lot of time together. Paul has a, quote, one twin license plate, and on his Subaru SUV, and Chris has a two twin license plate.
Oh my God, they are thing one and thing two.
Thing one and just twin one
Assholes.
and twin two. Asshole one and asshole two. So they say his brother is still the more forceful personality. He's also the better football player. He was also a better teacher even. He became deputy principal despite diddling kids. So that's pretty good, despite accusations of child molestation from girl. And unlike his brother, he's also been married to the same woman.
Admissions of child molestation.
Yeah.
Two detectives.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
He's still a deputy principal.
Oh.
He cleaned it up. Don't worry.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ. Now, 2018, everything changes. In Australia, there is a podcast called The Teacher's Pet.
Yeah.
And it launches.
Okay.
And it fucking blows the lid off of everything.
It does great.
It's like Australian Serial, basically, in terms of like a popularity thing.
People
and
listened.
People are listening, and it is just globally, it really becomes a big deal.
Yeah.
Chris Dawson is the main subject of this investigative podcast series. It's by journalist Hedley Thomas is the guy who puts it together, or the lady who puts it together. I'm not sure. Hedley is not positive.
Sounds
we're American.
It's Australian.
The only Hedley we know is Travis from Blazing Saddles, and it's Headley Lamar. So that's it.
Yeah.
Now, this Headley Thomas investigated allegations about the disappearance of Lynette Dawson and brought Chris Dawson into a little bit of a spotlight here, and the police investigation into the allegations of abuse at Cromer High. That's what this was mainly about,
they admitted it.
Teacher
right.
was about pedophilia that went on whatever, and from this guy, I guess, investigating pedophilia, it opened up the whole, did he murder his wife so he could fuck underage kids?
Thank God.
Type of thing. So he ends up talking to former students who spoke out about what's called disturbing alleged incidents at the school. All of this shit here. I mean, it came all the way out. The accusations included that in 1980, a male teacher raped a female student. Ex-students claimed their concerns were ignored by the school when they tried to complain about teachers coming on to them. They didn't care.
Great word, because that's exactly what it is. Whether it's consensual or not, that's fucking rape.
I think they're saying this was not only not legally, but also not, also... I don't know, logical, I don't even know what the hell.
Definitively.
Just basically, let's just say.
By definition.
Either way. So they said that the podcast was key in bringing new evidence out, because these were people that sometimes the cops didn't even fucking talk to.
Wow.
So, I mean, sometimes it takes somebody with focus, like they did with the Golden State Killer and all that sort of thing. If the cops have other shit going on, they're not as good at it as someone who does it 24 hours a day sometimes, if they also have investigative skills on top of that. So a journalist a lot of times can do that. They said it's important that people maintain confidence in the police force. Well, that would be good. Said, I'm hoping that any victim that comes forward on even on historic matters gets justice. Our child abuse crime squad are looking into all of these matters. I know that people have come forward and will continue to investigate those matters with the same passion and vigor that we've had since 2015. If only I had it since 1980, we'd have been doing a lot better. The spokesman for the high school said that any past students of Cromer High, Forest High, or Beacon Hill High who had been a victim of inappropriate conduct should contact the school and go through the channels here. They also said the department shouldn't be passive and wait for potential victims to come forward. Said, quote, I'd be surprised if the department didn't have records from those years. There needs to be some active investigation into whether there's any truth to those allegations. Yeah, I would say. A number of former students were featured on the podcast and having shocking shit that they were talking about, of teachers sleeping with multiple students all over the place. An ex-pupil of Dawson said that some teachers in that era at Cromer High viewed sex with year 11 and 12, that's, juniors and seniors.
That's legal.
As, quote, no, both age and no matter what, you're not allowed to fuck your students.
Yeah, but I mean, they view it as legal.
They view it as a, quote, fringe benefit of the job to fuck 16-year-olds.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to...
Like getting batteries from your job?
Yes, exactly. Like if you're taking some Post-it notes home.
Steal a couple rolls of tape.
Yeah.
What's the difference between tape and a kid's butthole?
That's what I mean.
Jesus Christ.
Same thing. Yeah. Extra stapler.
Sometimes I use the gas card to fill up my personal car.
Extra stapler, sophomore's virginity, same shit.
Gross.
It's disgusting.
Oh, my God.
So in one episode, his cousin, Chris's cousin, Judy Brown, said that the Cromer High teacher at one point took his new girlfriend, Joanne, that's him, when he was with Joanne, to a family reunion shortly after Lynn had disappeared. He shows up with a 16-year-old going, hi, my wife's gone, so I'm with her now.
Good to see you all.
She said that at that point, like, Joanne would sit on his lap while Lynn was home, too. So, like, that was kind of in the open. It was really weird. The whole thing was fucking weird. So, this all keeps going on. By December of 2018, the podcast has 28 million downloads.
Amazing.
So, I mean, it fucking crushed and really brought a lot of attention to this. So much so, in September of 2018, police start actually searching for the fucking body again. Yeah. In fact, there was times in the podcast when they said, hey, you need to search this here. What the hell? And then the police would be searching it 2 days later, right where they said to search. So we have nothing. Yeah. So if podcast guy can come up with some shit, great. We'll be there. So they search.
Hey, detective, a new episode's out.
Yeah.
For you to go follow leads.
Let's go. Everybody, go follow. So they go through a search of the beaches and all that sort of thing where they lived. They believe the body had been buried somewhere around there, possibly around the house. The house at that point had sold the year before for $2 million.
Wow.
And is described as an elegant family sanctuary. It's a 5-bedroom, 2-bath property with a pool, sold for $2.4 million, which is
sanctuary or cemetery.
Exactly. And then they want to dig it up and look for, hey, by the way, that thing you spent $2.5 million on, there might be a dead body there, so we're going to have to rip it apart. The realtors described it as nestled on an impressive 4,167 square meters on beautiful established grounds and landscaped gardens. The elegant family sanctuary provides a remarkable privacy and tranquility, unless the entire cold case squad is digging up your backyard.
Right.
That's a different story.
Criterion Brothers.
Yeah, Stan, that's what I picture, just those two. The versatile layout also boasts multiple living areas to comfortably accommodate the entire family. Yeah. The police returned for a second day of digging at the property, and they said that they're going to focus on several areas of the property where anomalies had been detected, but been detected by like high-tech equipment,
sonar and shit.
Yeah, they said it's a bid to get justice for Lynn. He said, quote, "We are digging in 4 areas, a small area at the back of the house between the rock and the building, another area in the backyard near the clothesline, another area a little further up in the backyard and around the pool area." Commander Cook here, he said his officers were working on the dig. They'd excavate to the bottom of the property's pool. Whoa. But not underneath it because it had been installed prior to the disappearance. It's probably not under a pool, which, that makes sense.
Undermine a pool.
No, we can tunnel under it to put a body under there. So they said in terms of the other parts of the yard, we'll go until we hit rock. So they're going to dig. They're going to dig the shit up. Said it's a complex block of land because it's largely rock, so digging isn't easy. It's like Arizona. It's the same thing. If you go in a yard in Arizona, there's a little bit of dirt and then dink, you're hitting rock, and that's that. You're not going any further.
Digging pools is tough going.
Yeah, it takes dynamite a lot to do that.
Yeah.
They said a media spokeswoman for the state crime command said that the dig has not affected the current occupants of the property, unless they want to go in their backyard, obviously. They said that they're searching everywhere. They're going to find him. They're going to find her. They know it. Okay. December 4th, 2018. This is Lynn's 2 siblings, Pat Jenkins and Phil Sims, not that Phil Sims.
Yeah.
They said they spoke to the Australian on that day about the investigation, and they said, quote, "They can't be much longer, Shirley. They've had it for so long. It's our last chance. Here's hoping, hey?" And then the one said, "I'm sure for Chanel it will be very mixed, and for Sharon she will be devastated if they find their mother.
Of course.
And she believes totally in her father. Chanel wants the truth. She wants to honor her mother. She always talks about honoring her mother. The truth has to come out." December 5th, 2018, the next day, Chris Dawson is arrested at his home in Queensland for Lynette's murder.
Yeah.
They actually arrest him. They say that he went quietly with police as he was arrested. They said that he was calm and seemed a bit taken aback. A bit taken aback by it.
It's been so long.
They said they received wonderful information earlier in this week that there was enough evidence that they could arrest him. The prosecution said, let's just arrest him. There's plenty, based on circumstantial shit. Why? Because there's no body, no crime here is what he's thinking the whole time.
Yeah.
No body, no crime. But instead, there is. So they said, no doubt it will be of voluminous briefs with enormous amount of evidence, and there will be a number of witnesses who will be called. They said that, they're going to do it. He says he's not guilty, obviously.
They're going to do it with nobody.
Nobody. They're going to prosecute based on, all of the circumstantial evidence.
It's possible, but
it's the lies mainly. Yeah. That's all the lies around it. That's a lot. That's a tough one, man. Yeah. That's a really tough prosecution. They said, his brother said, "We're disappointed in the decision to arrest him. There is clear and uncontested evidence that Lynn Dawson was alive long after she left Chris and her daughters."
Yeah.
Antique Roadshow. Not only that, there's more. And we have no doubt that Chris will be found not guilty. They said that, this whole thing, the neighbors say that they were stunned about it. There's a long way to go, but I can't actually contain my emotions. I feel like running through the streets and screaming at the top of my voice. It's something that I never thought we'd get to. They said that she's vindicated finally, and her family is very, very happy about this whole thing. They said that, it's will be something that they further explore. They want to find the body, obviously, and they said that we certainly won't give up on the search. I mean, Jesus Christ. I feel these fucking kids.
I can't imagine, man.
These two daughters, my God.
And they're both in
them,
different places in their lives, you know what I mean, in
Jesus
terms of what they believe and what they agree with.
I mean,
so delicate.
Between them and Joanne, who I feel horrible for. I mean, no matter what, I don't even care. I'm not even saying it, but I mean, I don't even care if she helped.
Yeah.
She was 6, she didn't, but I mean, even if she'd had, she's
still a
kid.
victim.
She's a victim. The whole thing's fucked. I mean, I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy.
So many.
But not nearly.
God damn it.
As bad as I feel for Chris Dawson.
Yeah.
Material coordinator at St. Joseph's Hospital and Medical Center in Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, there. Chris Dawson, author and president at Unlock a Book Publishers, LLC. Team Dawson or Chris Dawson, that's in San Angelo, Texas, the last one.
Yeah.
This one is team leader at 24/7 In Touch in Phoenix. We have Chris Dawson, COO at Sunrun in San Francisco. Chris Dawson, sales and marketing manager at Attic Perfect Inc., which I think makes your attic better, nicer.
It's in Finishing Attics?
Burlingame, California. I only said that because that's a bad small town murder.
Probably blowing in insulation.
Chris Dawson, director of security at Lucky Eagle Casino and Hotel at Lakeland, Florida. And finally, Chris Dawson, teacher/bartender. You poor bastard. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
If there's anybody
you poor
creepier.
Son of a bitch. You poor bastard.
If this guy was a teacher and a bartender, that's horrifying.
That's bad stuff. You want to hear something really funny?
Yeah.
As a podcaster, fucking Chris Dawson reviewed the podcast.
What did he say?
He reviewed
Get out.
the podcast. I'm dead serious.
He went in and logged in.
That's his thing that he has on other things. They did some investigating. They found out that's him. 1 star. Bullshit is the title.
He's so mad.
Poorly researched and flat out untrue. Can't believe people believe this shit. Also, the bloke that did Chris Dawson's voice was way off.
He doesn't even sound like me. I mean him.
Oh, baby, that is beautiful, man. That is
unbelievable.
That's gorgeous.
Bullshit.
Right there. Bullshit. There he is. What's his defense?
Yeah.
His defense is that, people have seen her, apparently. They said that, he told his wife, a guy told the investigators that his wife, Sue, Chris told investigators that his wife, Sue, his new wife after 1990, was working at a fruit barn in Culnura on the New South Wales Central Coast when she saw Lynn in person later on.
Yeah.
She believed she saw Lynn Dawson in the fruit barn itself, and she went to approach her, and Lynn walked out of the place, got in a car, and left.
She knew.
What she said.
She knew it was his wife.
Running. There she is. She said that Sue had, I guess, whatever. She knew them before that and from teaching and all that sort of shit. So they said that, where's this? Oh, my God. The another one, this is another lady who was saying that she saw Lynn too, but they said if she had seen somebody that may have been an appearance to Lynn, she knew Lynn extremely well. She may have wanted to see Lynn for herself. This woman died in 1998. It's not Chris's wife. It's some other woman named Sue. She never got to give evidence or anything like that. Also, right now, there is a 101-year-old woman who says she saw her. Imagine if you're only...
Yeah.
Your lifeline to freedom is 101-year-old woman testifying. Oh my
saying,
God!
I seen her.
Elva McBay said she caught a glimpse of Lynette Dawson alive and well at a royal parade in Sydney in 1983.
I'm sure you did.
Yep, she told the court that she was a lifelong fan of the Newton Rugby League team for which Dawson and his twin brother played. She became friends with Paul when they both worked at a high school in the late 70s and was a frequent visitor to their house and was familiar with Lynette.
When I was only 75.
I was still a very old lady. That's the thing. They still said this old lady and she's still alive. She said she was waiting in line outside Sydney Hospital to meet Prince Charles and Princess Diana on March 28th, 1983, when she believed she saw Lynette running across the street. She said a woman approximately 6 to 8 people down the line ducked under the barricade and ran in front of a police motorcade escorting the royal couple. So she's saying she took off.
Yeah.
I saw her face for a few seconds and she ran straight across in front of the motorbikes. It was terribly dangerous. She could have been badly injured. And they said, and you think that was Lynn Dawson? And she said, I did think that. And they also, and also there was the Antiques Roadshow. And,
Which is the best sighting.
The old woman said that she thought that it looked very, very much like Lynn. She also said that Chris seemed like a very quiet, placid person and a wonderful husband. Yeah. He didn't yell at his wife in front of an 80-year-old lady. What a fucking prince. She said that he was not aggressive enough. She said he's not violent. She said even on the rugby field. She said he was not that aggressive enough. He was even too quiet on the field. Okay. She said wasn't even aggressive on the field. What are we talking about? She said that she attended a children's birthday party at Chris Dawson's house in July 1981 and was told by Lynette that she had been involved in an awful fight with a teenage student of Chris's who had moved into their home to help with babysitting. Mm-hmm. She said that I've had the most dreadful row with the teenager this morning. She said she just wants to get rid of me. I said, oh, Lynn, you can't be hurt like this. You should get her out of the house before she causes you any trouble. She said, my mother said exactly the same thing. So,
that's a fight.
That's a fight. Yeah. So that she's saying that maybe that she's trying to suggest that maybe Joanne did this and it's not him. The prosecution, though, there's a lot of holes in a story that has they can't prove she didn't just walk out. So that's a hard one here. He maintained that his former wife walked out on him and that's it. And they won't, that's it. There's more people that have died that also said they saw her after the fact. And how many people have seen Elvis? So, that happens, and Tupac and everything else.
Right.
One witness died. Her daughter gave evidence at the second inquest and said, my mother told me that if she was here today, she saw Lynn Dawson on that day. So they allow hearsay. Not only do they allow that, they also allow a psychic to come into the proceedings.
Get out of my life.
Serious. Psychic.
Oh, my God.
Debbie Malone told the hearing here that she first came across the Dawson case when she watched a part of an Australian ABC story in 2003. She said that she felt the spirit of Mrs. Dawson around her after seeing the episode and assumed she was dead, later contacting police to offer assistance. And then she met Mrs. Dawson's siblings, Greg and Pat, and went to the home she was, and she told the court that she used a watch and a bracelet of Lynette to, quote, tune into her spirit through psychometry, I guess.
Yeah.
The act of using an object in order to connect to the energy of an owner. It's like when you let a dog sniff something, then you go find it. It's the same thing.
All she has to do is rub her thumb around your watch.
That's it. She says, I have clairvoyance, so I can hear her speak to me.
Obviously.
She said that in court. That's in a court of law, Jimmy. This isn't like on a TV show. In a court of law.
Oh, my God.
When I tune into an item or a photograph, it's like watching television. I see snippets of her life. Yeah.
Okay.
At times, she spoke in the first person as fucking Lynette in the meeting with the detective. She believed that she was buried, Ms. Dawson was buried on or near her former Bayview home. She also said that the detective was skeptical but had an open mind. Wow. I would say so. She, in the next 6 months, visited the property to compare what she had seen during the reading with the location. She said, oh my God, I felt she was located near an area close to the big rock at the back of the house near the fire trail. It was somewhere in that vicinity. She was not provided with any information of the case, and she said she had no interest in pursuing monetary rewards either.
Okay.
The court also heard from a neighbor who claimed she saw another neighbor who saw Lynette a couple of years later, and this person said that this person saw Lynette at Rock Castle Hospital in 1984, where she was working as part of the staff.
Okay.
Lynette was.
Yeah.
She said, I didn't think much of it because it wasn't strange to see her there because of her occupation. Okay. So Chris is extradited to New South Wales to face trial. And December 17, 2018, he's granted bail, and his family paid 1.5 million Australian dollars. Wow. 1.5 million Aussies for him to be released.
That's like 3 kangaroos.
It's like 4 kangaroos and 5 Fosters. It's a lot. So the magistrate said that while he's on bail, he must live at the house with his wife, obviously. Can't go anywhere. His forthcoming release is, $1.5 million surety drawn from the value of his house and his elder brother Peter's house as well. So the kids, Sue's kids, his adopted basically kids, they no longer use his name as their last name and reverted to their biological father's name, but they're still friends with him. They're still friends on Facebook with with his daughter Chanel.
Okay.
So there seems to be something going on here. Now, their daughter, Joanne, and Chris's daughter, Kristen, she says it's a really hard moment for us at the time here, knowing that this is what she came from is not great, I'm sure.
Oh, my.
2019, as the court hearings start to ramp up, the podcast is taken down.
Really?
Legally to not influence
not cloud it. Yeah.
Not cloud
Smart.
the deal.
Yeah.
So it was temporarily removed from download in Australia in April 2019 to help ensure that Chris Dawson gets a fair trial. So, he pleads not guilty to the murder in June of 2019. In February 2020, he is committed to stand trial for the murder of Lynette, which is a big thing he has to go through. There's some weird thing in Australia where you can try to have it like basically shelved, and they said no, and they said they were going forward with it. So he said he would plead not guilty, and he would go to trial.
I'm sure they do that with every single case.
Yeah. How about we don't?
Shelve this?
How about, can we just not have it?
No, we're going to do it.
Is that like moving for a mistrial here or something?
It's got to be.
February 2020, he is committed to stand trial for the murder. Like we said, his arraignment is set for April, but then COVID happened after February, so we got all sorts of delays. April 2020 is the formally pleading not guilty. During a hearing, 4 witnesses said that they had seen her alive, and she's saying, see?
Yeah.
Dawson's brother-in-law, Ross Hutchinson, told the court that he saw Lynette alive about 3 to 6 months after her disappearance on the side of a road in at the side of Victoria Road in Gladesville, standing outside a hospital. Another one. She said that she was standing at a bus stop, and he said, I immediately recognized her as Lynn Dawson. I also noticed at the time, to my left was Gladesville Hospital. Lynn was a nurse. I put 2 and 2 together. Lynn was standing outside the hospital where I assumed she was working.
Yeah.
He said that I told the investigators about this. The police knew everything. I don't know what the fuck, basically, because they said in 1999 he didn't tell the police that when they re-interviewed him. And he said, I thought they knew about it already. Okay. So he's banking on 101-year-old Elva McBay.
Hell yeah.
And a still frame from an Antiques Roadshow as his defense.
Hang in there, Elva.
And there is a change.org petition here to find Lynette's body. Well, no shit. We all want to find the body.
That'd
here.
Be nice.
Only 59 people have signed this, which makes no sense. Doesn't cost anything to sign up, and we'd like to weird too with the Teacher's Pet podcast having so popular. So change.org, they have 59 signatures, and it said let's get to 100.
Wow,
we could probably do that, right?
Maybe they didn't. Maybe the podcast didn't know about that.
Maybe
they must not have said anything.
It might have came out later. So I think we can get to 100. But that's that. Can't get enough. He's still waiting. It's on trial.
My.
COVID has delayed this whole thing.
Oh, shit.
So we will certainly give you an update on whether he is convicted or not. At the moment, he's 72 years old, pushing 73.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens. He's also charged with child sex crimes
Good.
as well.
God damn it.
He is charged with the school. He's charged with everything, basically. They charge him with having sex with school kids. They charge him with murder. They charge him with the whole shebang. He's saying not guilty to everything down the line. He's been railroaded. It's a witch hunt, his daughter said. Witch hunt for my dad. So that's that.
Oh, my God.
Can't get enough? Too bad. Fuck this guy. He's gross.
He's
Can't
disgusting.
Follow his murder trial. There you go. That's how you can get enough of him, is follow his disgusting murder trial. That, everybody, is going on down to Australia for Chris Dawson, and quite the episode, I would say. That's a weird one.
You know what it was, James? It was bullshit.
Bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit, man.
This is unreal.
Bullshit. 1 star.
Paunchy fat fuck.
Paunchy fuck. So, yes, that is Chris. A wild story. And like I said, no end to it right now. And I didn't know when it would ever resolve.
Yeah.
And it might not resolve before we wrap up doing the show for good. Who the fuck knows how much longer we'll do the show. So I was like, let's get it out of the way now, because I know that COVID backed it up, but it backed up a million other things too. So they're like a year and a half behind on the court system. So I don't know how long this is going to take. So we needed to get it out of the way and go see Chris Dawson and go down there. And we'll also be back with the Newtown Jets or Newton Jets, whatever the hell they are, for Gary Sullivan as well, because he did a bunch of crazy shit too. So we'll talk about somebody else on that team. If you like that episode, there is a very easy way to tell us and the whole world about it. Get on Apple Podcasts and don't say bullshit. Say, I like this show, and give us 5 stars. You can say anything you want. It doesn't matter, but it does help. And if you say bullshit, it doesn't help at all.
No.
So try to help out the show that way.
I'm surprised he got that on there, because they bleep that stuff.
I don't know if in Australia they don't.
Maybe
they don't.
Maybe bullshit in Australia is a good thing.
It's probably like, you could probably say cunt on there. You know what I mean? You probably could.
Bunch of passive Pauls down there.
It's all passive Pauls. More passive Pauls than Cranky Chris's. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
So, do that. Where was I? ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com. Go there.
Yeah.
And go get tickets for the virtual live show, Small Town Murder. It's going to be awesome.
Can't wait.
We're going to put together a really, really funny show, and all the visuals are there. And we're going to pretend like we're in a theater.
Yeah.
We're going to have the same setup, and we're just going to say, hey, this is a theater, and all you people out there will be the crowd, and we're going to have a really, really good time. So ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com, July 29th, and for 72 hours after that, it'll be available. So definitely get your tickets to that, as well as get all your other information. Get your merchandise. Get everything like that. Listen to Small Town Murder as well.
Sure.
Start with last week's episode, a missing high school cheerleader from a suburban mall. And it gets worse.
Yeah.
Start from there. It gets way worse and grosser. So you can do that. Listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie, because I have to watch these terrible goddamn movies. And also, you want to be on Patreon as well. Well, first follow us on social media at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Then get on the Patreon, because let me tell you, everybody, this. The Patreon episodes are goddamn hilarious.
They're so fun.
It's not just like, well, we'll fuck around for an hour.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun, and it's a lot of laughs, and the episodes are really funny. Check out last week's on Herb Abrams and the UWF, which was a crazy indie wrestling league where the guy had one of the wildest deaths in the history of wrestling even. So that says a lot right there.
Wrestling's scummy in the first place.
Yeah, and this guy took it to a whole new level. Check that out, and also check out Small Town Murders bonus, because you'll get access to all the bonus stuff.
Yes.
And that is really bad small town reviews, which are hilarious. People ripping apart these places. So funny. The next Crime and Sports bonus episode for Patreon will be the death of Steve McNair as well. So we got a lot of cool stuff. That's not really cool, but it's interesting anyway.
It's a fascinating tale.
It's a wild tale. So check all that out. You can find that and everything else at patreon.com/crimeandsports, patreon.com/crimeandsports. And there you go. And also, Jimmie will mispronounce your name.
Absolutely.
We'll screw it all up, and you'll be a producer.
If you want to just donate as a producer, you can do that at PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com.
And it's a beautiful thing to do.
Yeah.
It's all good karma, and you'll still be a producer, and he'll still screw your name all up.
Absolutely.
In every way, he'll mangle it. So I think that said, Jimmie, I need to hear the long list of people who would never, ever Eiffel Tower a 10th grader. Please, Jimmie, hit me with that list right now.
This week's executive producers, Alistair George, who donated both ways.
Wow.
And an unbelievable sweet Thank you so much,
Thank you
Alistair.
so much. Yeah, I remember the thank you so much. That's really cool.
Other producers. Other executives this week are Elizabeth Hawk, Colleen Vigas. I think that's a G. Josh Denton, Jordan Bennett. Jesus, I put... Jordan Bennett. I'm sorry. Amanda with no last name. Dan Kamen Zind, Christine Mellick, and Shelby Whitman. Thank you guys so much. We can't do it without you.
Oh, God, thank you.
Other producers this week are Peyton Meadows, Liz Vasquez, Kendall Passmore, also Jenny Moravik. Her son is suffering. It's brutal. But she listens to us to help her get through it. And it's very, very sweet. I don't want to give too much about what's happening in her life.
Glad we could be there for you.
Hang in there, Jenny.
Hang in there, yeah.
I'm so glad glad
for
you
you.
got a tough kiddo. Other producers also are Anat Falah, Michelle Lockhart, Jeff Carlson, Liz Vasquez, James Martyr. Michelle Lockhart was in Steve Irwin's memory also. I don't know. He passed away recently. I guess he loved us, which was very nice. Miss you already,
sorry
Steve.
to lose him.
Spencer Westcott, Nick with no last name, Carl Kirshner, Christopher Gillespie, Andrea Olakia. Yeah. Abigail Lohr, Allison Brewer, Ryan Commons, Jackson Palmer, that's Andy Kropf, and his cute butt also, apparently. That's what I'm told. Evidently, he's got a great one.
Well, good for you.
Good caboose, Andy.
I mean, shit.
Ken with no last name, Stephanie Phelps, Janet Crosscheck, Nikki with no last name, Kimberly Cooey, Andrew Dalzell Roberts, Matthew Boland, Thomas Keeble, Holly Stiffelmeyer, Sean Moriarty. It's Italian. Of course it is.
Of course you're
Mayorani. Mayorani.
Yep.
I am such a piece of shit.
We're going to Italy someday, Jimmy. I swear to God. I'm just going to take you there so you can not be able to read anything that happens.
I don't know. Even spaghetti will be spelled weird.
It's going to be like, fuck.
I don't know. Do you have the spaghetti?
We're saying it like that. Are you going to have it? Hey.
Jonathan Grogan, Alistair George, I said that. She's amazing. Jacob Shaw, Mike Shapp, Kelsey Underwood, Darian Stevens, Paige with no last name, Colin Keys, Crystal O'Brien, Krista Matsumoto, I think.
Nice.
Malik and Matt Hardkey. Chris Etherist, Fiona Light, Edmund Shearer, Lisa Marangolo, Lori Wrestler, Devin Fliss, Leilani Feliz, Janice Hill, Evan Miller, Joshua Barrick, Kaylin Miller, Andrew Goss, Alex Pierce, Crystal Reynolds, Randy Cantrell, Jason S., Canadian Pocket Robin. Good Lord, it took everything. Omar Gobi, Bakken Babes Boutique.
Sweet.
Listen, I'm never going to get that right, I don't think. Stephanie King, Jesse with no last name, Holland Smith, Leslie Galcavies, Gon Calvi, Brian Nosich, Tim Taisler in Berlin. Oh, Tim Taisler. He's in Berlin.
Oh, in Berlin.
Travis Tim,
Okay.
Lewis Haas, Holly Blue Webb, Hannah Duffy, Bren Peacock, Craig Wiscanis Cons, Caleb Cook, Matthew Marlowe, Pamela Greenlee, Kyler Crawford, Tim Boardley, Michelle Hansen. Yes. Oh, Michelle Hansen asked me if I've been to the candy store. Everybody's been to the candy store.
Gross.
I've been there way too many times. Thomas Lepesh.
That's a shitty strip club in North Phoenix, by the way. It's called the Candy Store.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I've been there. Thomas Lepesh Provengano.
Provengano.
There you go. Becky Comlessy. Leah, what is this? Lena Gasper Vincicuti. What?
Yep. You got that, Jimmy.
Bobby
Please,
Troxel.
any Italian people out there, just even if it's just a fucking $1, I don't care. I'm not trying to, but
it'll be worth it.
Please, it'll be worth it to hear Jimmy destroy your name.
Taylor Ireland, Joshua Burton, Mary Bates, Sean Mead, June Dickinson, Adam Yates, Brendan Abels, David Wallace, Steve Slade, Alexandra Gerwell, Trevor Hansen, Brandon Germany, Jolie Coyle, Ashley Vio, Owen Harrington, Sindra Opalski, Kristen Hendler, I think, Sydney Vittori. It's not right either.
Nope. Rarely is.
Monica Young. Monica Young is doing something amazing. When she has a good night at her job, I'm not going to give what, it doesn't matter.
It's fine.
She sends us money because
that's so sweet.
People tipped very well, and it's
that's
hilarious.
So sweet.
Thank you, Monica. Julie Messina, Don Stewart, Casper J.D. Reed. I think that's right. All the letters are together. I can't read that. Casper Jadreed. Mike McClure, Brandon Monahan, Tess Wyatt, Carlos Hernandez, Austin Duarte. Nope, that's Dartez. Taryn Rhines, Phil. Nope, that's Paris. Grant, Laura Vander Buben. Chris, nope, that's Sarah Christensen, the James Gang, Dustin Queen, Anna Salato, David McGrath, happy birthday, Shelley Trollian, Michelle Varanick, Josue Josue Santos, Stephanie Loftus, Adrian with no last name, Tammy Sham, Orion GH, Sarah Bradshaw, Eduardo Gonzalez, Michael Doheny, Dustin Perez, John with no last name, Jason Ramich, Jen Scaturo, Diana Intini,
Yes.
Jessica McPhail, Christine Pate, Aaron Smuck, Sharon Wiley, Allie Gary, Megan Manacero. What the fuck? Kaylee Cannon, Amber Siegman, Mike Frank, Jeff Blackwell, Laney Hines, Michelle Castle Olson, Ashley Simpson, probably not, Jill Zepp, Jamie Furch, Joshua Broussard, Wendy Ibarra, Gregory Elliott, Haley Rimmer. I'm sorry, Haley. Nicole.
We're 8. What do you want from us?
Haley Rimmer and Nicole Loader. Okay.
Rimmer.
What the fuck is happening? Hillary Clark, Michelle with no last name, Zach Zapera, Whitey Pooner.
No.
I swear to God.
Yep, Poon.
Amy Bishop, Daryl McDonald, Mish Ubner. Usner, I don't know. Jamie Calder, Robert Jersevich, Brad Merriman, Eric with no last name, and that's with an A. Eric with an A. Tyler S., William Galloway, Kayla with no last name, David Francis, Avon Gale, Erica Popham, Corey Coward, Lindsay Lowe, Amy R., D.E., what is this? Lakia Benton, Carla Pearson, Lewis Lane, Cole Ryman, Brendan with no last name, Elizabeth Jordan, Frank Zamperini, Taylor, nope, that's Tanner, McCutcheon, Carrie Meyer, Angela Ankeny, damn it, Hanson Williams, Jay Mazing Anderson, Kyle Garriotts, Laura Hankies, Megan Alicebaugh, Cassie Tan, Gary Friedman, Rodney Lenzendorf, Mike Burris, David Flake, Jacqueline Curry, Dave Brown, Chantel with no last name, Joe Lynn Shaver, Jason Fessler, Jen McCoy, Alex Bonaker, Julian Jordan, Kyle Kane, Dominic Cones, Jeff, nope, that's Phil Jeffs, Bill Turpin, Scott Harrigan, SKOT, that's Scott, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
What the hell?
Christina Milano, Monica Muncie, Leslie Jordan, probably not. Sheena with no last name, Monica Fitzgerald, Samantha Thompson, Hazen Chandler, Delcy Blakely, Caitlin Ward, Brian Dixon, Larry Thomas, Gabrielle Moore, Brad Hebert, Ryan Foley, Goat with no last name, Kiki McGee, Jana Wellhouse, Jane Whitaker, Megan Johnson, Lisa Kuzman, Joe Kenny, Karen Flage, I think, John Wyckoff, Jennifer Moyer, Lewis Ralston, Snoopy Noodle, Amanda Hall, Dylan Barnhart, Lynn 30, Tori Leo, Lauren Smith, Victoria Quarles, Braun Kosick, Bartholomew Stratton, Tim Turner, Brian Dixon, Ben Rosenthal, Katie Lynn, nope, that's Katie Lee Jones, Heidi Butler, Stacy Benson, Peyton with no last name, Gareth Stryster-Manis, Jesus, Trisha Bentley, I know, sound it out, Whisman, Nicole Galvani, what is that? Galvani? Is it Vaney? Christy Smith, Dan Lemley, Amelia Tedesco, Ryan J, Blair Fanning, Jackson Leggy, Lori Bing, Mike Hunt, sure, KB, Zoe Tombstone, John Daniel, ya boy here, Damron. Caleb Cook, Jackie Hewitt, Ozma Brown, Alexis Walsh, nope, that's Alex, sorry, Jake Summers, Joey May, Dan Lindsay, Leola Gustavo, Matthew Asfar, Bryce Kerr, Kona Girl Gamer, Moses Gunner, Tracy Jacobs, Lady Beard, Summer Mossman, Jasper Wharton, Maddie Peck, Justin Murray, Randy Billings, Adam Holt, Rowdy McElfresh, Madison with no last name, Adam White, James Rich, Ricky Saunders, Brooke L, Jacqueline Thompson, Beth Bell, Matt Roost, that's Rachel Voles, Laura with no last name, Angela Bingham, Henry Lorraine, Adam Allen Murray, Jessica Undraw Day. Jennifer Kolstad, Latasha with no last name, Trent Holloman, Kelly Corrington, Lucy Crookshank, Michael Conway, Danny Summerfield, God damn it, I'm close. Rebecca, what happened? Yeah, Rebecca Mitchell, Darcy Moore, Lexa Donnelly, Austin Thiel, Maddie Decker, John Hagan, Adrian Wallace, Taisha Carson, Noah Adams, Forza Memes, Jamie Partial, Rylan Neely, Courtney Hawkins, Dan Woodroska, Corey Johnson, Ray Sanders, Shane McGee, Ebony Wiggins, Laura Becker Thompson, Cole Gunderson, Daisy Ray Hayes, Alex Avila, Jesse and Sarah, Leslie, Matt Lukasic, I don't know, Elizabeth Casimiro, April Grant, Matthew Westmoreland, Miranda Krebs, Leilani Heel, Tiffany Smith, Amanda Journey, Logan Bream, Brendan O'Donnell, Haley Harwood, Patricia Winterbauer, that's Hannah Black, Amanda Baxter, and all of our patrons. You guys are terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody, honestly, for everything you do for us, because, God damn it, do we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We do appreciate it. Thanks for hanging with us and everything else.
Thanks for supporting what we do and running with us and having a great time about it.
What if they wanted to support you? How could they do it, Jimmie?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter and Instagram. It's been a hell of a start to this year, and I appreciate all of you guys hanging in with me.
Certainly.
I've got enough challenges. Where can they find you?
Challenges is a way to put it, I would say, yes. You can find me at Jimmie P is funny, or you can just copy and you know how to find people. Yeah. You know how to find people, goddammit, if you want to find me. So do that. Find us. Keep coming back week after week after week. We have a lot of crazy, famous people and wild episodes coming up. So keep on coming back. And until next week, everybody. Oh, no, that's Small Town Murders Exit. Let's start over again. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.